pushing the buttons. Happy Wednesday and happy Juneteenth. Rest in peace, Willie Mays. Man, talk about one of the great ones gone, huh? I don't know, that might be a bad omen. I don't know if you guys saw in better news or worse news, depending on how you feel about it. George Santos has started an OnlyFans account, guys. George Santos has started. This is my sign, right? It's time for me to start my own OnlyFans account and blind some people with a hairy white ginger. I think this is my sign. Yeah, Willie Mays passing, man. That's crazy. I mean, there's a lot of really wonderful, amazing, great baseball players, but Willie Mays is one of the best, dude. So, and I'm an A's fan, so for me to be saying that about a Giants player, a lifelong Giants player, man, poor Willie. Yeah, Levon, you're going to be checking that out later, though. That George Santos OnlyFans account. You know you are. Couple beers into it, bro. You look that shit up. You know you are. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. As far as everything goes for today, we've got a little bit of everything going on. I was supposed to work more on my Civil War video yesterday. I'll be honest with every one of you, because that's who I am. I'll just tell you guys the truth. That's what I do. I went and played disc golf, and I drank some beers. Drank beers, played disc golf. Actually left my earbuds in the refrigerator. That's how many beers I had last night. And I also went to bed at like 9:15. So I'm actually not really tired today. Bobert is going to have an OnlyFans by April next year is my prophecy. I'm surprised that Lauren Bobert doesn't have an OnlyFans now. To be 100 with you guys, I think if there was one person that would be like, what? Yeah, I have an OnlyFans. It would have to be Lauren Boebert, right? And that's where we're at in society now, is like, you get into Congress, you do well enough to hang on for like 2 years because people are dumb enough to vote for you, and then you start an OnlyFans account and you're set for life. Meanwhile, the rest of us dumbasses worked our fucking fingers to the bone, spent 30 years of our lives working our asses off to get, into the middle class. Lower middle class. Meanwhile, fucking Lauren Boebert's gonna have an OnlyFans, and I guarantee you that OnlyFans is gonna be bringing in bank, dude. It's gonna be bringing in bank. Just just turn the volume down so you can't hear her voice. Exactly. Hey, Sharon. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Mike. Hi to everybody. Hi, Woke. I already talked to you a little bit, but hi, Woke. All right. Let's see where we're at. I tried to put out the MAGA Meltdown video, and something happened where YouTube glitched and did not send out notifications. So I actually took it down and going to send it out again probably tomorrow. We'll see what happens with that. All right. Where are we at? So today, other than the fact that Willie Mays has passed, other than the fact that, I don't know if you guys saw it, but we got some trouble in paradise on the Supreme Court. We got, what's her name? ABC, Anthony Barron Cohen. What is that lady's name? I think I just called her Sacha Baron Cohen's gay brother, Anthony. Amy Barrett Cohen or some shit like that. Whatever her name is. She's feuding with Clarence Thomas over the originality, the fact that all these people want to constantly go back to the Constitution and read it like we're 250 years old and people still own slaves and women don't have the right to vote. So hate to ever think that I would be on the same side as Sacha Baron Cohen's gay brother, but I am. Gay religious brother. Super hyper religious brother. Amy Barrett. Okay, I got it. Yeah, you watched it and you were notified. Apparently it said that the majority of people did not get notified, so I just took it down. We'll just redo it. It'll come back on like Thursday or whatever for everybody else that didn't see it. Thank you for watching it, Woke. As you guys have seen, we do have a replay of the live in the horizontal for all the people that kept adding me and telling me that they hate the vertical. I do replay these episodes as soon as they get up and can be played after the fact. My wife has been making shorts. So first of all, don't blame me, okay? Second, blame her. Third, yeah, anyways, watch those shorts and like them and comment on them too. Because making my wife happy makes me happy. So that's happening. We have a crazy video from Robert Reich that says, when the KKK murdered my childhood friend. That one seemed pretty interesting. Plus, Robert Reich looks really sad. I'm sorry, Robert. We got MTG fact-checked by our Hidden Past video. I had a subscriber that said that I should spend more time talking about MTG and Jim Jordan. And I'll be honest with you guys, I hate talking about Jim Jordan. I think he's like one of the most supreme douchebag people. But MTG, we can talk about MTG's dumbass ad nauseum. So we got a video on that. We got a video, Trump crashes and burns an unhinged rally, and I think this is Brian Tyler Cohen. I do not give BTC enough love. He is one of my favorite guys on the internets. I love Brian Tyler Cohen, and I enjoy Glenn Kirshner as well. So we got a video from him. We got a couple from the Lincoln Project, of course. We got a funny video I saw from this dude. Rich black guy who has 5.3 million followers who will probably give me a copyright strike for playing this video. Please don't do that to me, rich black guy. I'm a poor white guy. Please don't do that. Although, if you're going to do it, Juneteenth is the day to do it. We got a little Good Liars action with the MAGA moron has earth-shattering realization on camera. These happen probably every 10 to 12 seconds. There's some of them plastered all over the internet. So, I mean, we just randomly click one. We don't even need to know what it is. We just know it's going to be good. Obviously, Trump's former spiritual advisor said he had a relationship with a underage girl who happened to be 12 years old. 12 years old. That's what these people... I'll share a story with you guys. I was talking about this out in the parking lot with one of my employees, and apparently a person who was going into the store heard us talking about the church, and ironically, after I had walked away and went into the store to do some work, walked up to my warehouse guy and gave him 2 Bibles because he said, I heard you guys talking about the church, and I just wanted to give these to you. You can't make this shit up. Anyways, let's see what else we got here. We got Jesse Dollamore talking about Trump is super triggered by new debate rules, and I don't even know what that is, so I want to find out what the hell's going on there. And because we are all celebrating Alex Jones's downfall, couldn't happen to a better man, we're going to play a little Gay Frogs, the music video. Oh, yeah, we got Matt Gaetz as well. Dude, it is hype this week. This week is hype, guys. With Matt Gaetz getting called out by another accusation. They're talking about all the bad things Matty has done. Rapey McForehead. All the things he's been doing that he don't want nobody to know about, but he done went and helped get McCarthy ousted, and McCarthy was like, yeah, all right. Then they get to see all the bad stuff. They get to be all... Let me ask you guys this. Remember that the dude in the wheelchair? What was his name? The little racist white dude in the wheelchair that got booted. And he said, everywhere I go with these Congress people, there's cocaine and sex and orgies and prostitutes and deviancy. And the funniest thing about that is, I think this guy was mostly going to Matt Gaetz parties. Oh, man. Well, Levon, I think you can own a part of the company. Yeah, that's right. Madison, right? Madison Cawthorn or Haddison, some dumb shit like that. A rich white guy name. All right. So anyways, that's what we're going to get into today. We got lots of funny videos. Like I said, it's been kind of hype week. Things have been happening everywhere. I kind of wanted to watch a video, and maybe we will later. There's a really good video from the New York Times actually it was from the BBC. I watched another one from the New York Times, but one from the BBC. I think it came out maybe 2 years ago, but it was on the religious right and what they actually want to happen. And this one guy talking about that he hopes that the states split up, and his idea, his solution is that everybody just lives in their own state and gets to do whatever bad shit they want to people. And it was a pretty like eye-opening experience to watch it. And with Project 2025 being kind of on the ballot, because it is on the ballot, if you don't recognize that, it is. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote for the Project 2025 ballot or Heritage Foundation plan. So I've been watching some videos on what the religious right really thinks, like what they really want to come from all this bullshit. And it'll surprise you. I don't know, maybe it won't surprise you guys, but some of it is a little crazier than I even gave them credit for. All right, you're running for it too, Levon. I hope we're not in the same race, because once I heard there was coke and hookers, I as well joined up. I was like, all right, well, give me a call, send me a text. I'll be there. So I hope we're not in the same state running for it, Levon. But if we're not, we will link up if we both win, okay? All right, here we go. Let's check out Republicans holding Republicans accountable on the last week in the Republican Party.
Kind of feels like it's a white boy summer.
And it was, as the former...
That started fast. I wasn't ready for that.
Kind of feels like...
What cringy ass politician was this? That is, oh my God, cringy. Oh my God.
It's a white boy summer.
And it was, as the former president would say, a total love fest.
It was the single best meeting I've ever seen.
You know what Trump meetings are like. He's electric.
This guy is tireless.
He's electric. Dude, this is like, they need to change their name. They should be the Republican or something like that party. The Republican Party. How you gonna talk about how you gotta get back to the traditional family values and the man running the house? The man's in charge and the man makes decisions. And then Donald Trump walks through the door and you're like, yes, sir. Hey, guy. How you doing? Can I give you one of these, sir? Thank you so much for being here. I know you called my wife ugly. I know you referred to me as a serial killer. I know you said like the worst possible shit about me and my family. But I love you, sir. I love you so much. Like, dude, it's such a fucking weird... Like, I just can't.
He's committed, he's smart, he's funny.
He was funny. He was joking around constantly
Here,
with
smelled
everyone. He was really
Charlie
sweet
Kirk.
to me.
Very
course it
complimentary
was.
things about all of us. We had sustained applause.
He was
Dude, when Mike Johnson's like the most sane person in your party, dude, there's something wrong. That's time. Look, I'm not for... I keep saying this, that one of the things I don't like about the Republican Party right now is that they keep like acting like the whole country needs to be burnt down and rebuilt, and like that's fucking insanity. And when this guy right here, this guy is the most sane person in your party, you might need to burn that shit down and just start over again. You got to kill it with fire. I don't know what else you do at that point. At that point, when Mike Johnson looks sane and ashamed and embarrassed by the people around him, that's the time when you just pour copious amounts of gasoline on all the things, light that shit on fire, and just walk the fuck away. I mean, you might even want it like a name change. You might go ahead and get yourself a name change, maybe get some plastic surgery so people don't know who you are. It's not a
Very
not
complimentary
a good thing.
things about all of us. We had sustained applause.
Look at him.
he was the team captain, and we were glad he was leading
Look at
us.
Lindsey
What if your
Graham.
choice of water could make a statement? What if it could symbolize your commitment to values like
fuck no.
freedom, individuality, and
fuck no.
self-reliance?
When you see Trump at
We're grifting off water? I didn't know we'd made it to grifting off water. Dude, I am so far behind. Take a
black
couple
church.
days
How
off. This is what
wonderful is
happens.
that?
Is there a chance that one of these orgs is potentially hiding information from you about aliens?
I guess so.
I can't get this stuff out of my hair.
I still, man, a couple of days ago when they got him to admit that Trump can't fight, I'm still giving him props for that. That overall, the interview itself was probably like a 4 out of 10, like a 9 out of 10 for cuckery. But the fact that they got Donald Trump to admit that he can't fight, like that took it from a 2 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10.
This water isn't free, but your speech is. It's not just refreshing, it's rebellious and it's unapologetic to drink this in public. Can you freaking believe it?
Can you, what the fuck? I'm struggling today. What the fuck, man? Like, it's a statement to drink this water in public? What weird ass reality do we live in? Like, Trump supporters already got to wear their hat everywhere they go. They got their shirt. They got their shoes. They got their Bible. Now I have to, like, walk around and these dudes are going to have water bottles, like, with fucking, like, MAGA slogans on it. Like, can we leave something at home? I thought, like, back in the day when I'd wear jerseys for my football team and shit, I thought that was, like, you know, like, I'm, like, telling people what's up. Like, I'm an Eagles fan. That's right. You're a Cowboys fan. Take that shit. These people just took everything that I did when I was like 19 and just blew that shit out of the water. Like, you cannot like any human being this much. It's weird. It's fucking weird.
Do you want a dance party or do you want to go live in your parents' basement?
Oh, God. What the fuck is... Yeah!
We don't need votes. We got more votes than anybody's ever had.
Oh, hold on, drink break.
I took a cognitive test and I aced it. Dr. Ronnie Johnson.
The name of Trump's former White House physician turned U.S. Congressman is Ronnie Jackson.
Is he headbutting the Pope?
And in particular, and remember this. Oh, wait a minute. Mike Lindell, please stand up, okay?
No
Donald Trump believes in law and order.
No doubt about it.
You ever been in a fist fight, Mr. President?
There it is.
Probably not.
Women aren't smart, guys. Newsflash, breaking news, we aren't smart.
And anyone that
Wait a
wants
minute.
to...
Hold on. Do they bring Fresh and Fit? Tell me that Republicans have not... Dude. No. No. Oh my God. We can't allow this to happen. Okay. I kind of always knew that red pill conservatism and red pill and conservatism does kind of touch tips, but they hadn't gotten there yet. If conservatives, if Republicans start standing for Fresh and Fit, I might be done, guys. I don't know if they're trying to get me to lead the country. This might be it. If Fresh and Fit becomes like I don't know, an example of what conservatives want, what they believe in, I think I might actually have to just join the left. I think I might have to just say I'm a Democrat from this point on, because I can't even like accidentally be seen as being a supporter of the dipshittery in the conservative party right now, along with the dipshittery of Fresh and Fit. There's absolutely no fucking way. Oh my God.
We aren't smart.
And anyone that wants to continue to shame us for January 6th can go to hell.
China!
Guys, I don't think I can take that. If it goes there, I think I might have to give up. I think if we get to the point where I have to see Donald Trump's dumb ass saying dumb shit, Marjorie Taylor Greene's ass saying dumb shit, Charlie Kirk holding up dumb ass flags that say White Boy Summer, which is the most cringe shit I ever seen in my goddamn life, and then I gotta see Fresh and Fit at like a fucking Trump rally, along with Forgiato Blow and the fucking Trump Grinch or whatever the hell his name is, and George Santos. I can't do this. I can't. This might actually be idiocracy. We might have entered into. I can't watch this serious video after that. We have to go find another video to cleanse. We have to cleanse, guys. We have to cleanse. Let's watch this one. Let's see what this guy has to say. Drink more beer? Is that what it is? Levon, do I just need to become like a severe alcoholic to deal with the America of today? Is that what I have to do? Just like fucking from morning till night, just pound alcohol? It might be what has to happen. You might be right, Levon. You might be right. All right, let's watch this one. I mean, it can't get any dumber than what we just saw, right? No way this video can be more moronic than what we just saw, guys.
People point out there are 120.5 guns per 100 people.
Okay. Why does so many people in the MAGA Republican Party look like Cotton from King of the Hill? Why do they all look like different versions of Cotton from King of the Hill? And is that the Thundercat symbol? Does he have a Thundercats belt buckle? Isn't that what Lionel used to do his Thundercats hoe? And then that would pop out? Maybe I'm wrong.
People in the United States. Why isn't it the safest country on earth?
I believe because the school systems are destroyed in this country now, and the behavioral habits in this country has changed radically in my lifetime.
It's the kids.
Okay, but the number of guns doesn't.
So it's all young people's fault. That's why it's a bunch of old MAGA Republicans that are fucking everything up. Right. That makes a lot of sense. There's a bunch of old-ass MAGA Republicans out there fucking everything up, talking about fucking sharks and electric batteries and boats and whether choosing between the boat and the shark. Dudes with white boy summer flags. But it's the youth's fault. It's the youth's fault. There's a bunch of people out there. There's 120 guns per 100 people. 1.2 guns per person, okay? And these people stand behind the Second Amendment, and it shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Okay, why was that created? Well, it was to make sure that the government doesn't take over and we can defend ourselves. So what do you want to use your guns for? I'm looking to shoot Democrats, actually. I don't think the Founding Fathers wanted you guys to all have guns so that way you could shoot each other. God damn it, man.
Doesn't have to do with the incidents of gun violence.
Is that Remington?
I don't believe so at all.
Is that what's going on?
I don't believe it.
It just happens to be that the country with the most guns has the most gun violence.
Yeah. The minorities and non-minorities.
Oh, yeah, of course it's the minorities.
At least,
it's Juneteenth.
are not being educated properly.
Oh!
And they're being left on their own devices, single-family homes.
Dude, the talking points, do you like when they just, like, they ramble the talking points? Like, they don't even have any, like, formative thought. Like, it doesn't, like, go from, like, okay, so actually, the way that I think about it is this has led to this. It's just, they just know, there's no connector. It's just minorities, single-family home, guns. That's what's going on. That's the problem. It's very simple. It's simple-minded shit for simple-minded people.
And the kids are left on their own, and they're exposed to too many elements that my generation was not exposed to.
What kind of elements?
Rap music. The black guys I hung around with, black people I hung around with, it was rhythm and blues and jazz.
This is racism in itself. If you listen to this
the connector between me and all these people is that we both listen to rap music. So there's a definite possibility that rap music has created a gap between us and them. But I'm still on the side that we were the right ones. I'm going to be honest with you. I would take Tupac and Biggie over this fucking guy every day of the week. And here's the other thing. I just want to point this out because Mac Lethal just put out a diss track on Tom McDonald's cringy ass, okay? And he pointed this out in that song, and I pointed this out before. There's a bunch of people listening to Tom McDonald's whack-ass rap music, okay, that sits there and that they say, oh, I don't like hip-hop, I don't like the drugs, I don't like the hoes, I don't like, and then they like, you stole culture from a certain set of people turn it into political rap bullshit, okay? And he ain't the first political rapper either, all right? How about Public Enemy? How about Ice-T? How about Ice Cube? Anyways, I digress, okay? But they go and do that, and then they're like, yeah, like Tom McDonald. We hate hip-hop, but Tom McDonald. Tom McDonald makes music for people that don't like hip-hop, and Tom McDonald, hip-hop doesn't like Tom McDonald, okay? So I guess it works out, but go do country music or some shit like that. It's rap's fault. If they would have stuck to blues would have kept the black youth along the straight and narrow. That's the problem.
Music. The black guys I hung around with, black people I hung around with, it was rhythm and blues and jazz.
This is racism in itself. If you listen to this gentleman talk about the black guys he hung around with,
It's breaking my head.
the minorities and non-minorities,
Yeah, same
what
shit
he's
they
truly
said about
saying
rock and
is,
roll. Exactly.
he didn't hang around with black people in his generation. They just hung black guys.
Yeah, my
in his
single mom
generation.
too. Well,
So the issue
yeah,
is
my
rap
single
music,
mom
not
too.
the 400 million guns.
No, you know, you keep getting back to 400 million guns.
So this idea that rap music elements that these guys are exposed to are the problem of America.
It's all Coolio's fault. Way to go, Coolio!
What he's truly saying is the expression, because
man.
rap music is in itself a
I love
protest
MTV,
music.
to be honest.
The expression of people that
grew up
did
in a
not
different
have a
culture,
voice
okay?
in his generation now is ruining America. This is the root of MAGA. Be clear. Make America Great Again is synonymous with making America a place where only white people, specifically white men, had a voice. Definitely where they can air their grievances.
And when we do that, just so you guys know, when they take that shit back, all you're gonna have for hip hop is Tom McDonald and Fellatio Blow. So when hip hop just like goes completely downhill after Project 2025 takes over, and the only rap you're allowed to listen to is Tom McDonald's cringy ass and Fellatio Blow's cuck ass and all those little like groupies that come along with him that all can't rap, that all suck at making music, that's your guys' fault. Anybody that votes for Trump, when you don't get to hear good hip-hop anymore, it's all your fucking fault. Just want you guys to know that. Fucking
It's in
stow that
everything
one
he
away
said.
for
Minorities,
future use.
non-minorities. He said non-minorities because he realized
Yeah,
what
and
he
they
had
did
just
literally
said.
say the same
The
shit
truth
about
of the
blues
matter
and
is
jazz.
he has only one problem. It's with black people and black culture,
Exactly.
as he articulated.
What does MAGA mean to you then? So Make America Great Again, what does that mean to you?
The America I grew up with, we want it back. We want people to stop censoring us. We want them to stay away from our Second Amendment. We want freedom of religion. So if you're a conservative, if you're a Christian, if you're white, you're male, it doesn't matter what color you are. We want people.
Bro, there's nothing more ironic than talking about being censored while you talk on a channel that gets millions of views. Like, this is the fucking hypocrisy of people like this. I'm being censored so hard right now with my scarf. I'm standing outside in my fucking Trump caucus captain hat. Like, I, as a rich white Christian, am being oppressed like no other. You guys don't understand how hard of a life I have right now. It's so fucking hypocritical. It's so weird.
People to be respected for
It's
who they
weird.
are. We don't need to have stones of infinity stones because you're black, you're gay, you're trans. We just want everybody to be treated equal. And they're trying to say that we're the
What does Thanos have to do with this? Why did we bring the Infinity Gauntlet into this conversation? How does that connect? Jesus Christ. I shouldn't even try anymore. These
party
people
of the
fucking-
racist party when they're the ones actually wanting Jim Crow rules back.
In what way?
Well, colleges, they want to have black and white
He must be talking about Byron Donaldson.
graduations. They want to separate us.
Where do they want that?
What colleges? Man, look. Okay, I don't know. Google it.
Make America Great Again.
Google it, guys. Google it. Just trust me. Just trust me, okay? Oh, shit. I pushed the wrong button. Technical difficulties. Drink! Where are we at here? Oh, this lady. I know like all these people.
Where we can have those freedoms that we are so lucky to enjoy. There are so many people throughout the world that do not have what we have, and it is a blessing. That's why we have people that want to be here, and we will fully.
Susan, the craziest part about George Santos is that people voted for him, and people will vote for him again. Like, this is the weird society that we live in right now, is that the same people that complain about deviancy, the same people that complain about dishonesty, same people that claim or claim we're getting further and further away from God and Jesus, would 100% vote for George Santos, who straight up lied so much that he got kicked out of Congress. Do you know how much they lie in Congress? There are like 2 jobs that you can be wrong all the fucking time about and never get fired. That is a politician and a weatherman, okay? You can be wrong all day long and still keep your job. You can lie about whatever the fuck you want and people will still vote for you. George Santos lied so much he actually lost a job in politics. And there are still people willing to vote for him. That's another level of insanity. Oh my God.
Encompass all of that greatness again.
When did we last have it, if it's again?
I feel like we did have that when President Trump was in office. I feel like we can work with what he built on in the first presidency and make it even better.
When he was running in 2016, it was before he'd even been president, but he was still saying, make it great again. Again from when?
That is a good question. I would say if I could guess, it would be, and I think that they're very politically lined up, would be maybe with JFK.
We all know that in their days, rhythm and blues and jazz was also devil music to these people.
Exactly. Thank you, sir.
It has nothing to do with
Thank
music.
you.
And everything to do with the fact that white men feel like they're losing their country, a country that they stole
oppressed.
from brown people
So hard.
and built on the backs of black people for free labor. Yet and still, we are not allowed to have an opinion that is critical of them or their systems that they benefited.
I'm telling you guys, everywhere I go nowadays, everybody's racist against me. Everywhere I go. I go to restaurants, the waiters, they're racist to me. The cops are pulling me over all over the place. I'm telling you, white men, we're being oppressed really, really hard right now, guys. Maybe it's because I'm not Christian. Maybe that's the element I'm missing to be oppressed more. Maybe I should join a church because I'm just not feeling it. I haven't seen it. It's
still
fucking
benefit
insane.
from. That's what he's saying. And he will never see guns as a problem because it doesn't matter that more white men die from guns every year than anybody else in this country. It does matter that black men can challenge whiteness in this country.
We all know that if you guys really want gun reform, you just need to reinstitute the Black Panther Party and give them all the guns that all the militia members use and just have them out in public with those motherfuckers. All of a sudden, everybody will want gun reform. That's exactly how gun reform happened the first time. If anybody remembers that shit, everybody was like, everybody should be able to have whatever guns they want. And then a couple Black Panthers started walking around like, all right, cool, that's good to hear. I'm glad you guys are with that because we got some guns we like to carry them around. People were like, oh, no, hold on, how'd that black guy get a gun? Let's get this shit handled. That's not happening. That's not happening, sir.
And this idea that rap music is at the end of our culture, at the bottom of our culture, that it is base.
White men, FJB.
Is devoid
white
of
Christian
facts.
men. Other Christian
because
men
no
totally
one has
fine.
a problem with Clint Eastwood shooting and killing people in movies. No one has a problem with Bruce Willis blowing up buildings in movies. No one has a problem with anything that happens in Hollywood, but everything that happens in rap music. Mm-hmm. No one had a problem in rock and roll with sex, drug, and rock and roll. But there's a problem with rap music This is racism at its best. And then if you go on to the second video, where this gentleman is talking about guns are not the problem and education is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Schools are failing students. No, schools aren't failing students.
Schools are
Adults
scary
are
for
failing schools.
Yeah.
When they blame teachers for everything that's wrong with America's society and are not willing to accept the fact that America has a gun problem. A gun problem. And guns kill people, regardless if they want to believe it or not. Mm-hmm. If you take the gun out of the situation, there'll be a lot more Americans alive today. And that is not because of rap music, just like it's not because of Clint Eastwood and Bruce Willis movies.
Fucking solid point. Gangster rap. No, I read that. You right. Gangster rap died in the late 1990s. Have these people listened to rap in the last 20 years? You're right. That's such a pertinent fact. Like, I grew up with Sibo, Rappin' Forte, Brother Lynch, Tupac, Biggie, you know, RBL Posse, 3-6 Mafia. Like, shit, that was really actually people talking about, like, actually doing real crime. The rap music nowadays, you can tell that these people still exist 30 years ago because they don't know that rap music isn't anything like the rap music that I grew up with. Bone Thugs and Harmony, Do or Die. Like, they're so behind on their talking points that they're still referencing hip-hop from 30 years ago. Still referencing hip-hop from when I was in high school to kind of legitimize their beliefs on some bullshit points of view. Like, to be fucking honest with you, you know, the stuff I grew up with was violent. It was crazy. There was all kinds of set tripping and fucking nastiness. But if you look at the people now, what are you, Lil Yachty? You think Lil Yachty's gangster? Dude, people like fucking 6ix9ine try to be, and everybody clowns them. You think Ludacris? Is it ludicrous? Because that's ludicrous. That's a solid point. That's a solid point. No, the music is worse. The message is people. Oh, you're talking about that's British, okay? FJB. We don't talk about British rap music. What's up, Lauren? What's up, Spikin'? No, it's not. That mainstream shit's all dumb, like lean music, fucking boats and hoes and shit like that. That's why I can't stand it. I don't listen to hip hop nowadays, and it's not because I'm like, oh my god, they're oppressing me. It's because it shit's kind of bad. I'm not into it. I don't like mumble rap. Shit that's really listened to is pretty bad. It's all mumble rap. Underground drill is what they're afraid of. I don't know. I guess I'll look it up. I'll tell you this: there's no suburban white kids. Well, they might be. They might be rocking it. There's no young white kids that I've ever heard of that listen to drill music. No, not the country gangster stuff either. Don't bring that fucking hick hop shit in here either. If I hear you guys play any of that hick hop shit, you're getting banned. Okay, I will ban you so fast. I live in California. That's where gangster rap came from, dog. Okay, we started this gangster shit. All right. All right, I'll check it out, FJB. I'll check it out. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna listen to it though. It's probably fucking terrible. All right. All right. Let's see where we at. We're bouncing around today. We got the Gay Frog song. We're gonna play that at one point. Let's play this because it's Juneteenth, and this shit's funny.
Take those shackles off your feet and run on over to our Juneteenth celebration sale here at Johnson's Jeep, Dodge, and Chevy. For this day only, let's take a break from all the colors of the rainbow and pay attention to the one that wasn't included. Bring your one black friend over to our dealership and take advantage of our buy one, get one freedom sale. Buy any of our brand new Wranglers, Chargers, or Silverados and get a used vehicle for free. That's right, free! Why sit in the back of the bus when you can sit in the front seat of a 2002?
Why aren't real commercials like this? Dude, if real commercials were like this, I'd buy some shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't need a car right now. I think I'm gonna go get me a Malibu. Okay?
Chevy Malibu. Well, we'll even throw in a 5-year warranty for you and your hand-me-down homie as part of our reparation and maintenance program. This deal is so good. Hell, I ain't gonna lie. They might even let you say it one time. Shoot, they might let you sing a whole Kendrick song all the way through, uncensored. So pause that country music and hip-hop on over to Johnson's Jeep, Dodge, and Chevy, right across the street from the Bucky.
This video is not sponsored by any brands depicted and is created for the sake of satire. Do not arrive to any car dealership accompanied with a minority companion in the ban of free used vehicle. Any slurs used in front of your minority companion is not officially approved by this video and will not be held liable for any physical damages.
Hurry on down, because this deal lasts for only 24...
For real though. Don't go dropping N-bombs down at your local Chevrolet dealer, okay? Oh, man.
And don't forget about our LGBT support campaign, where if you trade in any gay relative's vehicle, full price match with value all throughout the month. Now that's a transaction you don't want to miss. You bring in the trans, and we'll bring in the action at Johnson's Jeep, Dodge, and Chevy. Yeehaw!
Oh, dude, I've never seen this guy before. How does he have 5 million subscribers? Okay, I'm being told I don't know enough about drill rap, and now I'm realizing that I don't know who this guy is. Apparently, I am out of touch with culture. Okay, here you go. Yeah, you haven't spoken to your one black friend in years? Well, you ain't getting the deal then, buddy. Alright? That's the way it works. You gotta bring a minority with you, or you don't get the deal. That's how it works. Is this guy... Oh, I've seen this before. I haven't watched it, though. I should check that one out. Hold on. I actually want to play something. And I don't know if I can, but we're going to try to play it. But this shit was pretty funny. There you go. Josh Johnson is fucking hilarious.
Look, I'll cut the malarkey. We're facing a critical fundraising deadline.
Joe,
with the election just around the corner,
Joe, calm
I'm
down,
humbly
Joe.
asking you, can you give what you can now?
I got no money,
while
Joe.
there's still time. Democracy's...
Please give a warm Kansas City welcome to Josh Johnson, everybody.
What up, Jess?
I've been reading a lot of history lately. I don't know why, but maybe it's because
We'll do this while I
it's
eat.
such a
Don't shut the
fraught
hell up.
time. Feels better to read history just to be reminded, like, oh, that was worse. You know? And you also get a real sense of yourself from reading about the past. You see the mistakes people made, so hopefully you don't make them and everything. And I was reading a lot about Juneteenth because Juneteenth is coming up, and admittedly, like, you know, I learned about Juneteenth pretty young.
Good job, Jess.
You know? And I can tell from the scattered clapter that a lot of you don't necessarily celebrate Juneteenth. I'll put you on game real quick. Here's the thing. I was reading about it because it's probably one of the most fascinating times in American history to me, because it was like the fulfillment of a promise in a way. America is a place for freedom, and it's a place for understanding yourself and building out an identity to be free with, right? And it's something that we were founded on, but it's something that took a long time to come to fruition, you know? And Juneteenth, by the way, is not a number that black people made up. That I understand it does kind of sound like that as well. Like, Juneteenth is a holiday, just so y'all know. Because sometimes, as black people, we do make up numbers. If you know a black person, especially in the South, you've probably heard them say 50-11. And
Yeah, my best friend, of course, who was black, all right? He used to say, like, the craziest numbers. You're like, this is for the, like, 17,545th time, bro, you've said that. And he'd be like, man, I just walked, like, 7,695 miles to get here. Always. Every fucking time it was some kind of crazy-ass number, and I picked up that habit now.
5011 is, I want to be clear, not 5,011. It's also not 5011s. It's just our way of saying too many. You know, you'll hear somebody be like, I told you 5011 times, take out that trash. And you know that a child is about to be whooped. You know?
$11 billion.
Or somebody will be like, he got 50-11 baby mamas, and you'll be like, he is a slut. Now, they'll be like, oh, he think he's somebody because he got like $50-11, something like that, which is just their way of saying a lot. But it would be better to say the actual amount. Which reminds me, okay, this is digressing for a second, but this is very funny to me. One time, a dude from my hometown won the lottery, and he was calling everybody, telling them that he won the lottery, but he didn't win the Powerball. He just won some money, and so he was bragging, but he didn't. So basically, okay. Because he told me he told me he did this, but then he told me how much he made. I was like, you shouldn't have called anybody. That's not a stranger phone call flex amount of money. That I get that you won, I'm happy for you, but that's not the amount to be sending people off with. Because he called his ex and he was like, hey, looks like you fucked up because I just won the lottery, all right? You looking at the winner of $60,000. I was like, that's salary. Like, don't do this. After taxes, that is $30,000, sir.
You want to hear like some crazy some stuff that like goes right along with it? The lottery is a tax on the poor. My mom, who made $540 a month, and that's how much money she got. Like that's what we lived off of, right? She would put $5 in the lottery every single week. Every week. For like her entire life, she's put $5 a week into the lottery and has never won. The lottery is some bullshit, dude.
No, but Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a holiday to commemorate the slaves in Galveston, Texas, being told of their freedom and it being made official, right? And the weird thing is, there's a lot of
Yeah, Levon, I used to work at a 7-Eleven when I was 18. It was like my first job. And you guys are probably going to call me a liar because you're like, there's no way a white boy got a job at a 7-Eleven. But I knew people, okay? I knew people, all right? But there used to be guys that would come in there and they'd buy lottery tickets and they play, what is it? The one that goes up on the screen too. Keno or something like that. So they buy Keno tickets and they'd buy scratchers. So they'd be playing the game on the TV and at the same time they'd be doing the scratchers. And so they'd scratch and scratch and scratch and scratch, and then they'd come up and they'd give me like, a stack of like free ones, $2 ones, $5 ones. And dude, they would be in a 7-Eleven for like 2 hours doing just scratchers, playing the little Keno thing or whatever it was, all that stuff. And it gets so bad, it was like a comedy. It was like a comedy skit. You'd come up and there'd be a fucking scratcher piles on the ground around them that I have to come up and sweep up. That shit is like seriously bad for people.
Juneteenth is a holiday to commemorate the slaves in Galveston, Texas, being told of their freedom and it being made official, right? And the weird thing is, there's a lot of misconceptions about when slavery actually ended, because a lot of people think it ended in 1863 with Lincoln signing the Emancipation Proclamation. But the thing with that is that the Southern states had already seceded, so to sign the Emancipation Proclamation and then send it and be like, y'all have to let your slaves go, but this is now another technically country that you are at war with because they wanted to leave the Union. That would be like if Canada was like, America, y'all need to recycle more. And then we were like, if you don't shut your maple ass up. Like, that's like... Because the South was at war with the North, this was to, hurt the southern states that had slavery. And one of the states was actually left off of the Emancipation Proclamation because they had already taken control of it. And it said nothing about any sort of slavery that was happening on the northern side. Like, the northern side isn't known for slavery, but there were people in the North who had slaves, right? And so then, 1864, I believe it was the Senate that passed it, and then the House passed it in 1865. And then they told everybody later. Really dragged their heels with that one. And this is the thing, is that if you really want to be technical with it, slavery wasn't actually abolished until the very end of 1865, like December 6th or something like that. It's just that Juneteenth, it's easy to barbecue in the summer. So we just take that one. No. But it is a fascinating time in America because it was America fulfilling a promise that it made to itself since its inception, and so many people fought it. That's what's so crazy. Like, America was about to be everything that it was supposed to be, and then there were people that were, standing in the way. And the thing that is, like, the fight for freedom in America, for every person, right? Because every person, no matter who you are, your ancestors had to fight for some form of freedom to be here. Everyone from every ethnicity, everyone from every background, has had some sort of fight to get where they are now. Even the people who can trace their lineage back to the Mayflower, America still had to have a fight to be America. We started out as traitors to Britain, according to them. We were like, nah, we're gonna do our own thing. We're not sending you anything else. We pay taxes to you, y'all don't even come over here. We like coffee better anyway.
Hi.
I need Paul in here so that we can ask him whether or not
I'm
that's
Katya.
what made Britain
Today,
bad.
I want to share something close to my heart. In my home.
Uh-oh. No, it's not time for sad time.
And this is the thing, though, is that you look at that time, and for every war that America had to fight to be America, to become America, the way that we understand it now, black people fought in those wars. It's not talked about as often, but there were black people that fought in the American Revolution. There were black people that were fighting right alongside other white people in other regiments. Not every regiment was even fully segregated. And, part of it was the desperation. We're fighting for our existence as a country, and then we win. And then the founding fathers, everybody's like, yeah, we're free. And the black people were like, yeah, we're free. And then they were like, what do you mean we? No? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that an insane feeling? You fight for the place to become the place, and you don't get to be part of the place yet.
Yes, it did.
And then,
Yes, it
all the
did.
way up to the Civil War, for us to have a truly, deeply imperfect union, there was this battle that took place, and there were black people that fought on both sides of the Civil War, which is confusing. Yeah, I mean, because the white soldiers, you can kind of see where they stand and why they stand there. But any black soldier fighting in the Confederacy, you are kind of like, what? 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 And I don't think anyone would have been more confused than a black Union soldier, because then if they meet in the battlefield, he's like, turn around.
No shit, I didn't think about that. You don't? One of my favorite workday facts is where the session beer came from. So about 10 years ago, the session beer became really popular, and it was like the low alcohol beers. And I'm not talking about like Budweiser or Coors Light or Miller or any of that stuff. It was like IPAs, but they were only like 4.2% alcohol. And apparently the reason that session beers were created were that people were working like 8 to 16 hours a day. And so they would they get a break in between, like at 8 hours, they get like an hour off, and they'd all go to the pub and they'd drink. And people were coming back like super shit-faced and like, losing arms and stuff because there was no OSHA back then. And so what they started doing was they only were allowed to drink these like low alcohol beers, which of course just resulted in people like pounding beers on their break and then coming back super shit-faced anyways. But that's where the session beer came from, was from the halfway point or whatever your work day. They all went and got shit-faced and then came back to work. I would never be able to work drunk. Nothing would get done.
Now, it's important to understand that whether it was the American Revolution or whether it was the Civil War on both sides, black people fought for promises. The same way that America made a promise to itself, it also made promises to every people of every nation that would come here, right? It's why people come from Ireland, from Italy, from all these places that immigrated, that came to Ellis Island. They came for that promise, and that was a promise that was also made to the black people that were already here. You'll be part of America, right? And so in some weird way, sometimes it was due to the threat of death, sometimes it was just to get off the plantation, sometimes it was with the promise of freedom. There were black people that fought in the Confederacy, you know? And I'm pretty sure they didn't try that hard. Yeah, I mean, like if I was a black officer, I mean, I wouldn't have been an officer. I guess a black soldier in the Confederacy, I think when I shoot, I'd be like, oops. I missed. I hope he doesn't get over here and free everybody. That'd be terrible if they just ran up on us and started being like, you free, you free, you free. You know what I mean? Like, I would hate to get shot with freedom. You know what I mean? I've heard it's terrible, you know?
All right. Okay. We'll get back to Trump. But if you guys don't know who Josh Johnson is, well, you do now. First of all, if you didn't know, now you know. Okay. Here you go. That one right there. That's Josh Johnson's channel. You should go. You should like. You subscribe. Tell him how fucking amazing he is. He's a dope human being. Super funny. Republicans want to replace OSHA with oh shit. That is no doubt exactly what they're going for. I saw a really funny debate between Andrew Wilson, this dude who's like a Christian populist, and Dave Smith, who's a supposed libertarian. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, about halfway through the debate, I almost called the police on Andrew Wilson because he was absolutely murdering that dude. Because libertarians always think they're libertarian but don't understand what libertarian means. So, like, they have the non-aggression policy, which is everything that they have is based on. It's the idea that as long as you're not harming somebody else, you should be allowed to do whatever you want, which, of course, has all these, like, really faulty ideals, along with what Liz just said there. If you don't have regulation for certain things, then people take advantage of it. It's human nature. It's the idea that we're going to have free market capitalism, but there's no such thing as a free market because they say, oh, well, the way you would do that is you'd use antitrust to keep people from becoming, well, then you need to regulate. There's no such thing. Like, you can't just look at what Jeff Bezos and Walmart and all these huge corporations out there, like what all of them do, and there's regulation. If there was no regulation, there would be no competition. We'd already be an idiocracy. Costco would own every one of our souls. We probably would have had to sign a contract at birth to Costco. I will never do anything in the name of Costco that is bad. I will never shame the name of Costco. I will always walk in the light of Costco. That shit would have happened a long time ago. Anyways, he brought up like so many points with him, and it was insane to watch this guy try to defend, the right to take one's life is something that like that you're allowed to do that in libertarianism. This guy's going, no, I mean somebody would need to stop him, and he's like, well, who exactly would stop them? Would it be say a government that interferes? And of course, the guy agrees with all that stuff because, like I said, I thought I was libertarian for like 2 years. And then I just came to so many different places where I was like, oh, that shit does not work. It's like everybody in their political like lifespan thinks that they're a libertarian for like a year to 2 years. They're like, I am 100% sure the government should never be able to step in ever unless I am hurting somebody else. And somebody goes, well, what about that? And you go, well, yeah, I want them to step in on that. They're like, well, then you're not a libertarian. Costco contracts at birth? Yeah. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. You guys better be ready for that shit. Unions, all that stuff, man. It's all necessary to a society. Like the idea of the left and the right in some way, you know, when you talk about regulation at least, kind of playing off of each other and continuing to keep a balance of the left wants to maybe over-regulate stuff, the right wants to under-regulate stuff, and you kind of end up with this weird, awkward balance. Like, that's really, like, the best case scenario, because at the end of the day, people don't realize that every man for himself is not a good look. There is no successful company that is just every man for himself. There is no successful family that is just every man for himself. It just doesn't work out. It sounds really good when you're really high and you're talking to your friends and you're like, nah, man, just hear me out. Just hear me out. What if there was no government and we could do whatever and we kept all the money, no taxes? All of that sounds really good. It really does. Until you sit down with somebody that actually has a brain and they point out all the ways you're a hypocrite. And then you're like, oh, wait, but I'm totally... And then like a year later, you're like, no, I was an idiot. What was I thinking? Also, you just start drinking more because like Levon said, that's the only way. All right. Back to making fun of... Well, let's go to this one because this is the crazy one. This is the one where the pastor said he had a relationship with a young lady, which turns out he was fucking with the 12-year-old. And this is something that I don't... Okay, chat, I'm going to prime you for this shit. Okay, I don't want to see the chat going off on crazy pedo rants, all right, guys? I'm trusting that you guys are adult enough to watch this video and it not turn into a shit fest in the chat, okay?
Amid allegations he molested 12-year-old.
Don't forget
MAGA
Jess is
will
here.
not talk about this
She's
story,
hiding in
and
chat.
the
She
right-wing
will ban
media
you.
refuses to cover it. So Pastor Robert Morris, who owns a megachurch in Texas, and who was the spiritual advisor to the Donald Trump White...
No, FJB, let's remember. The rule is you're not allowed to accuse people of things that they cannot be prosecuted for. The idea of the rule is that we are not supposed to be using it specifically as an insult because it takes away the power of the word. You can say somebody like Epstein. You can talk about Epstein. You can say Epstein was convicted. He did a bunch of shit he shouldn't have done. That guy's a piece of shit, a human being. What you can't say is Joe Biden is, or even Donald Trump is. Anybody that has not been convicted. You guys can talk all the shit you want about people that have actually done shit and there's evidence. They're currently on trial, allegedly. Those are things that you can talk about, okay? But what I have tried to convince you guys is a bad idea is using it as a slur or an insult to use against your political opponents or people you don't like. Because it takes away the power of the word. I even said this a million times before when we talk about people on the left that overuse the word racist. We want it to mean what it means. We want it to have impact. And in my opinion, the worst thing you could possibly do is take away the power of something like a word like pedo. You know, like that shit needs to be used on people that have done shit. Because they should be looked at as terrible human beings.
White House resigned from his pastor role today after allegations came out that he sexually abused a 12-year-old girl in the 1980s. And Robert Morris confirmed the allegations for us, and in typical MAGA fashion, he tries to downplay what he did. And keep in mind, Republicans will not stop yapping about how Democrats are pedophiles or how we enable pedophilia, yet they conveniently will ignore this story. So this article reads, Texas megachurch pastor Robert Morris, who Donald Trump once named as a spiritual advisor to his administration, announced he was stepping down from gay...
So this dude talked about exterminating gay people, huh? No shit. Of course, because like I said, it's so weird. It's such a strange thing. Why? I mean, I guess it makes sense that you talk about things in like a really like aggressive way to make sure that like people think like, yeah, that's my brother. That guy believes all the things I do. I guess that's what they're going for. and like they're insecure, so they're talking about it in like a really like tough way to keep people from thinking that they're this way. And I'm telling you, so this was one of the things I thought about when I heard the Christian populist guy debating the libertarian, because he brought up a couple things. He asked him, did he think that people could take their own life? The libertarian said no, which is completely anti-libertarian. The libertarian would believe that you should be allowed to take your own life. And he asked the question, should a sister and brother be allowed to have a relationship if the sister doesn't have a uterus? The reason he brings up that the sister shouldn't have a uterus is because in libertarianism, you can do anything you want as long as it doesn't harm somebody else. And obviously, if the girl can have a child, then you're harming the child by them potentially being born with birth defects. So he asked him those two questions, and it just totally fucked up this libertarian. He could not understand why he's being asked these questions. Couldn't get through his head. He completely failed. He lost his shit. He called him names, and he just got absolutely owned in this debate. But where I was at with it, I was like, if I was him, I would be asking him, what about all the shit that happens in the church? Because the whole argument was over whether or not America was leading to deviancy and what was the best, government to keep it from becoming more deviant. And if Christian populism is the ideal that's going to keep America from being deviant, then why is there so much rampant sexual molestation happening within the church? I mean, we've all known about the Catholic Church for years. This dude, Robert Morris, obviously having a relationship that he's full on admitted to. These aren't allegations. The man has straight up said, yeah, I did some stuff. It just wasn't as bad as you guys think. Like, that's where I would have went. If I was a libertarian, dude, I would have been like, yeah, oh yeah? You guys are so much better over there? Yeah, the church has been embroiled in like 1 million fucking scandals. There is like gay pastors coming out all over the place that have been talking about how they don't like gay people, and then they're like come out of the closet with self-hate. I've literally had a fucking conversation online with a dude that was talking about how he disliked gay people, and at the end of the fucking conversation, he was like, I know because I'm gay. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Pun intended. Like, that's where I would have went. I would have been, you guys ain't any better.
Gateway Church amid allegations he molested a 12-year-old girl in the 1980s. The
really?
Resignation comes days after Morris, 62, seemingly...
I think that anything... What up, Ichabod? I just saw you. What up, Ichabod? I think anything that causes you to have like these insecurities, that like there's this being that hoards over you or lords over you and watches your every move and makes sure you don't do anything bad. Like, I've said it a million times before when people were like, well, religion has made people better people. I don't believe that. I believe that those people were good people before they were religious, because if religion makes you a good person because you have to think that somebody else is watching you and making you do these things, then you weren't a good person. You were never a good person. If the only reason that you're a good person is because there are rules and boundaries that make you have to follow them and thus you are a good person, you're not a good person. And I think that what that does is you take a bunch of people that clearly weren't good people before they got involved in this, and then you kind of inundate them with this idea that there's this, being that is going to potentially, prosecute them, persecute them, send them to hell, hold them accountable, and then they think, oh, any of these thoughts I have are bad thoughts, and then they start doing things behind the scenes. And they're still a bad person. They're just hiding it. Like, there's a lot to that. Like I've said, I've told you guys this a bunch of times. I have lots of viewers that are religious. I like people that are Christ-like. If you want to be Christ-like and you just want to be a good human being, good on you. If you want to believe in a creator, good on you. I've said this before. I'm a bit of a secular humanist, right? So that means that for the most part, if you can prove something to me, I'll believe it. So that means that I don't disbelieve that there is the potential of a creator. That means that no one has ever proved to me that there is a creator. Therefore, I still land on the side of the current evidence that there isn't. However, I don't hold that against anybody that lives a good life and wants to be religious. Good on you. Live the life you want to. Like, enjoy life, but treat people well and don't do bad shit behind closed doors. Like, you aren't a good person if you do bad shit behind closed doors and then you come out here and act like you're a good person. You just seem like one, which is even worse.
He admitted to molesting the girl in a statement to the Christian Post.
Let's see. What up, fatty? What's going on? Let's see. You're changing your race to Mexican. Good job, Levon. I think you could do it. Do you think people are inherently good or inherently bad if they knew there would be no consequences to what they did? I believe, well, first of all, when you're talking about good or bad, that's all like, based off of like your concept or your context. Because in like a masochistic society, which was like, if it was ruled over by people that were very masochistic, then we'd have a completely different outlook on what is good or bad. So since I believe morals are grounded in evolution, I believe for the most part, most things that I would consider good are for the proliferation of the human race, and most things that are considered bad are things that are detrimental to the proliferation of the human race. And part of that obviously is like harming children, abusing children, harming women, harming men, harming anybody really, in a way that would in some way stunt their growth as a human being or perhaps turn them into a worse person. So do I think people are inherently good or bad? I think that people are inherently, I don't think anybody's inherently anything. I think that you have the nature-nurture conversation, which, you're influenced by your environment, you're influenced by, your genetics. And so I guess that would be like on a case-by-case basis, that some people would be inherently more detrimental to the proliferation of the human race, and some people would be inherently more beneficial to the proliferation of the human race, if that makes any sense. I think that's where I would go with it. But obviously, we've been holding each other accountable for a really long time. One of the bases of my idea with morals being from evolution is that the idea of people being shamed. Shame is a very important tool for keeping people within boundaries when used correctly. When used incorrectly, it's actually a very harmful tool. But throughout the history of mankind, shame has been used to keep people within certain boundaries. So I think that my argument would be that you don't need to have a creator to be able to have those boundaries. You have society to keep you within those boundaries. And we have a social contract that we sign with each other that says that I'm not going to do anything that's going to harm your growth, harm your ability to succeed, harm your ability to be happy, and that if I violate that contract, then I shouldn't be concerned about a creator. I should be concerned about the people around me and how they will hold me accountable. That's what I would say to that.
In that statement, he conceded that he engaged in, quote, inappropriate sexual behavior with a, quote, young lady when he was already married with a child in his early 20s. Morris didn't mention the girl's age, but his alleged victim, Sydney Clemishire, told the religious watchdog blog, The Wartburg Watch, on Friday that she was only 12 when she was first sexually abused by Morris on Christmas Day in 1982. She claimed that he invited her into the room he was staying in at her family home during a visit and touched her inappropriately on her breasts and, quote, under her panties. Morris ordered her to keep quiet about the molestation, quote.
And see, this is the problem. This is my big problem with the institution of religion. So I just got done saying that I have no problem with people being religious, and I don't. But I do have a huge problem with institutions that are religious, because institutionalizing religion and putting these like people in these positions where they're like, they feel like in some way they have to stay loyal to the church or else they're going to be punished, like creates this really, really shitty cycle of abuse. And what it does is somebody like that pastor does something to a child, and then the parents are even a part of the reasoning behind why the kid doesn't speak out, because the parents also don't want that pastor to be harmed because they believe they're harming the church. They're harming the institution. And that shit is where it just becomes like mind-boggling, insane bullshit that you would ever put a child in a place where you, as their parents, would put their safety under your loyalty to this dude who's a fucking creep. Like, to me, that, like, as a parent, is the most hurtful and fucked up thing to do. And I don't know if this child's parents were aware of the abuse, but if they were, they're just as bad, if not worse, than that pastor to do that to their children. I would say they're worse. Like if anybody touched my kids, I'd be going to jail. We all know that meme. We all know that meme from that dude that did that shit in the 80s. Yeah, we'd have a updated 2024 version of that meme, okay, if somebody touched my kids. Like, that's fucking for real.
Well, because it will ruin everything, Clemishire told the publication. The abuse allegedly continued for 4 years before the teenager confided in a close friend, which prompted Morris's wife to learn about what took place. That forced Morris to briefly step down from the ministry, but the nitty-gritty details of what took place were never made public until now. Quote, it was kissing and petting and not intercourse, but it was wrong, Morris said of the relationship to the Christian Post. That line right there is incredibly weird to me. He said it was kissing and petting and not intercourse, but it was wrong. Like, that first statement would somehow give us the impression that it wasn't wrong. It sounds like he still has a way to justify it in his head years later, or he's stuck in the 1980s. The article continues. Upon returning to the pulpit, Morris gained a large following as a preacher and apparently caught the eye of Trump, who named him to a spiritual advisory board in 2016. Honestly, if Donald Trump knew about the allegations, he would probably like Morris even more. The article finishes, Morris' now former church, located just outside Fort Worth, has over 100,000 attendees each weekend, it claims on its website. And what's incredible...
That's crazy. Imagine, here's this, like, horrible human being, and I'm not even gonna hesitate to say he is a terrible, horrific waste of human flesh. This garbage piece of shit person. And there's 100,000 people a week fucking sitting there listening to this guy and going, that's my guy. I love everything about this guy. He's my spiritual leader. If that doesn't fuck with you in your head, if you're one of his congregants and you hear this shit and that doesn't cause you some kind of moral conflict, you're gone, man. You're done. There's nothing left of you that is that I can have any hope for. There's zero left of you. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I hope you drink the Kool-Aid. If you one of the people that follow this guy and you're loyal to this guy after hearing some shit like this, you think he's a good person still, please drink the Kool-Aid. Please do us all a favor. Please opt out. Please do that. Because there ain't no hope for you. If you can follow a person like this and just be like, he made a mistake. He's been preaching for this long. He's been a bad person that whole time. And he's been telling you how to live a righteous life. What the fuck? Like, you can't possibly make that right with yourself. That this person has been up there preaching how to live a righteous life and did that to a child. You can't make that right.
What's really rich about this is I'm sure that a lot of these attendees, if they are hardcore evangelical Christians...
Hold on. Adam. According to Democrats, he's not a pedo, he's a map. I'm gonna hold you on this one, my friend. When you say Democrats, what you're speaking of is a very niche part of the left, and I don't know if they're just left, but you're talking about a very niche part. I do my best on this channel to constantly break out the difference between MAGA Republicans and conservatives. And the reason I do that is because I understand that they're a niche. And one of the problems we have in today's society is when we make a blanket statement like you just did. Obviously, that is an extremely small portion of the Democratic Party. I have never, ever spoken to somebody on the left that has ever agreed with that statement. The only time I have ever seen somebody agree with that statement were people on YouTube. And there's been like 3 of them. That like, you guys got to realize that you can be part of the problem or you be part of the solution. I do my best when I'm talking about MAGA Republicans to make sure that I am proportioning them off from your Barry Goldwater, from your fiscal, from even some of your religious right. Always try and push them off into a corner and go, those motherfuckers are extreme. Those motherfuckers are crazy. No one should be like them. Just like no one should be like people that think that they should be called maps, okay? They are what they are, and they are bad people. That is what they are.
Christians think that Democrats or that gay people or that trans people are the ones who are pedophiles, but the call is coming from inside the house. They go to a church every single weekend where the person that they listen to genuinely sexually abuses young people, and this has been a widespread, a repeated pattern with pastors, as I'm sure you guys know. Like, nobody does not know about this stuff. The Washington Post goes into more detail. They say the resignation of Robert Morris, founder and senior pastor at Gateway Church, was accepted by the church's board of elders. In a statement, the board said it is, quote, heartbroken and appalled by the allegations raised by Sidney Clemishire.
Because this should be a place where we should all be agreeable, whether you're left, right, center, libertarian, progressive, whatever, is that MAPS is a dumb fucking idea. That shit just should not, we should not be excusing that behavior in any way. And also, on the other side of that, we should not be excusing religious people that have done these things and giving them, you know, grace for their actions either. I mean, here it is. You don't have to be religious. You can understand why that people shouldn't be having relationships with even young people. Okay? Even with this dumbass MAPS idea. And that is because the very idea of not having a relationship with the person that's younger than you, and I'm talking like 16, 18 even, is that their frontal cortex has not been fully formed. They do not have the ability to make decisions, specifically decisions of that nature. They should never be placed in those positions. And that's why even with older kids, in the 18, I'm talking about not kids anymore, I guess they're considered adults at that point, 18 and older, like, we still have a poor outlook on older people, like a 35-year-old or a 40-year-old being with an 18-year-old, right? It's not because of some visceral thing. It's because the very reason that you should be not doing those types of things with people that much younger than yourself is because they have not been able to get to a point where they can make the types of decisions that are appropriate to make in those places, because they do not have the mechanics or the machinations that are in place when you have a fully formed prefrontal cortex. And it's bad enough that most of us are stunting the shit out of that for incredibly long times by doing things like drugs and alcohol. But that's beside the point. Like, people need to recognize that there is a legitimate reason behind why we feel disgust for those actions. Because if you don't get to the point where you recognize what is the machination, why do I feel this disgust for this action, then you're lying to yourself. You ain't mad that people are having sex with midgets. It ain't because people are small. It's because it's something that people should not be doing. It's taking advantage. It's harming the growth of another human being. You know, so like, the law is 18 and over in America. I hear that, but I still, even for me, like, too big of an age gap with a person that's of age is still kind of cringy to me.
Who was 12 when the alleged abuse began in 1982. The church said it hired a law firm to investigate the allegations. Quote, regretfully, before Friday, June 14th, the elders did not have all the facts of the inappropriate relationship between Morris and the victim, including her age at the time and the length of the abuse, the board said, adding that the elders had known about an extramarital relationship, but thought it was with a young lady. I don't know, that makes it a lot worse that they knew about this but didn't say anything. For the sake of the victim, we are thankful the situation has been exposed, the board added. Morris's name was removed from the church's webpage, listing its leadership late Monday, and
to be completely honest with you, most people on the left won't even talk to you about it because they look at it as that niche. Like, they're like, I'm not willing to speak about that. That's one of the things about you being in my channel, is I'm happy to address those allegations. I'm happy to talk to you about it because I think that the existence of it being out there at all is fucking insane. And I think that people should be talking about it because this is the same thing I said about every time when it comes to Trump supporters, whoever. It's like, you have to look at what is bad within your own groups and say it's bad and call it out for it to be fixed. And people need to start having this attitude more often about more of these types of things, so we can start having honest conversations about the shit that actually is deviant within our society. And that's not being LGBT. That's not being a minority or a marginalized community. Those are people that are just human beings. They are existing within the laws and boundaries of society, and just because your religion doesn't agree with it doesn't mean that you get to say that they're deviant. That's your own belief. That is not a human belief. But there are things that exist that are outside the boundaries of our society, and they happen within all the parties, and they should be brought out into the spotlight, and they should be talked about. And like I said just earlier, they should be shamed. There is a right way to be shamed, and there's a wrong way to be shamed. And if you are harming young people, you should be shamed and put in prison and never seen again. That's my personal opinion.
His son James is now listed as the church's senior leader. In a statement, Clemishire, now 54, said that while she is grateful that Morris is no longer a pastor at Gateway, she is disappointed that he was not terminated. She also disputed the board's assertion that it had not been aware of her age at the time of the alleged abuse, saying she had told a church official and a board member details of the events in 2005 and 2007. That makes me incredibly sick, and I absolutely believe Clemishire that she told them in the past, even almost 2 decades ago. We have seen this so many times where the Pope or powerful pastors at churches will...
And this is what I'm saying. This is my point. So get away from the political portion of this. Fuck left, fuck right, fuck independent, fuck libertarian and progressive. If you are a religious person and you believe in your religion and you worship Christ, you worship God, you're Catholic, you're Muslim, you're Jewish, whatever. I guess being Jewish isn't a religion, right? If you are religious and you believe in a higher power, you need to call these things out within your group. You need to hold these people accountable, because if you choose to be part of the group, then you are representative of the group, and those people are also representative of the group. So that means they represent you whether you like it or not. If you are a Christian and you know that your pastor is a dirty, dishonest, garbage human being, then it is on you to hold them accountable. Because if nobody else knows this shit's going on and you do, that's on you. And I understand, because this is the same thing that we get into politics, where people are scared to talk about, whether or not this person is good for office or that person's good for office, because they're afraid that then everybody's going to look at you and go, remember that one time you said that guy wasn't good? Yeah, he's not good. And so your whole party isn't good. You have to be able to stand on a foundation of confidence in yourself and your values. Therefore, if you are a Christian and you are in a church where this man is doing these things to children, then you should stand on your values and your foundation of confidence and point to that person and say, that person does not represent me. That person is a piece of shit, and that person should be held accountable for their actions. And that goes for politics. It goes for religion. It goes for non-religious people. If you're non-religious and you know some motherfuckers doing that shit, that person needs to be held accountable. Because like I said, if you don't, then you are culpable. You are an accomplice to the actions, whether or not you want to be or not, if you know about that shit and it is happening. You don't get to fucking play the I didn't want to because he's part of our congregation. I didn't want us to look bad. Fuck that shit. That's
cover
terrible.
up the sexual abuse that their priests and pastors have committed. It is a systemic problem at the Catholic Church, and I'm going to point out one more time the hypocrisy of Republicans genuinely not understanding that and deciding to project and blame Democrats and attack LGBTQ people. When I was covering the caucuses in Ohio, I went to a bunch of MAGA events, and I heard Marjorie Taylor Greene speak once, unfortunately, and she said this verbatim: "The Democratic Party is the party of pedophiles." The article continues, quote, "Gateway had the information but intentionally decided to embrace the false narrative Robert Morris wanted them to believe," Clemishire said. Again, I totally believe her when she says that. "The Board of Elders didn't reply to a request for comment Tuesday night, nor did the law firm hired by the board to investigate the alleged abuses, Haynes and Boone. Morris was among a group of evangelical pastors and leaders who served on an unofficial faith advisory group for the Trump administration. The group, whose members fluctuated, would come to the White House for briefings and pose with Trump for photos. While
and here I'll give grace in this. I'll say this: there is no guilt by proxy, right? But Donald Trump should be standing up out there right now. He should be out there right now saying, "I heard what that dude did. That's fucking abhorrent. It's terrible. It should never happen to anybody. And anybody that hid that shit should be held accountable for it. And I 100% will never, ever, ever, ever have any type of doings with that person ever again. How hard is that to do? How hard is it to stand up and say, so in my community, I think I talked about this just recently. In my community, there's a guy that I've worked with that was caught with things that he shouldn't have had. And I was like, that motherfucker needs to go to prison for the rest of his life. And fuck that person. I never want to see that man ever again in my life. And I don't even know what the fuck I would do if I did see him. It'd probably be really bad, and I'd probably never be able to come on this show again. Like, I do not get how you can have a person that represented you for a certain period of time in that professional manner that you don't come out and make a statement that you will never, ever fucking have dealings with that person ever again, and what they did was abhorrent. Like, that just, to me, it boggles my mind. It's fucking crazy.
Their actual influence on policy wasn't
make
clear.
me wanna
The
vote
public
for you.
images were powerful for conservative Christians who had felt unseen by previous presidents. Trump was among a roundtable of top White House officials in 2020 at Gateway, where he called Morris and another church leader, quote, great people with a great reputation. Have you ever noticed that Donald Trump will repeatedly call people nasty people, terrible, awful people, but whenever it is a friend of his who turns out to be a pedophile, he downplays it? He did the same thing with Ghislaine Maxwell. He said, I wish her well, after calling Hillary Clinton a nasty woman. And this part will just blow your mind and enrage you. We already have MAGA supporters playing defense and justifying what Robert Morris did. This tweet reads, this woman is a founder and pastor of Weatherford Church. She excuses Robert Morris in a public Facebook post. And the public Facebook post reads, I want people to not judge Robert Morris because of a mistake he made over 30 years ago. Some young girls at 12 years old are very beautiful and
Yeah, I shouldn't have watched this shit. Oh my God. Dude. This is mental illness, man. And it's fucked up. They did this shit to a kid, man. Like, there should be no fucking hesitation. No hesitation. Everybody should be denouncing this shit. I don't care how close you were. I don't care whose friend that was. If it was your friend or your friend. If it was your friend. I don't care. Like, you should be denouncing this shit. And if you don't, you're fucking mentally ill. No one should be defending this guy's actions. This isn't a fucking case of a person being accused of something and then them being like, hey, I get my day in court. Like, I understand if somebody is accused of something and they believe they're innocent and they want their day in court, fine. Don't jump to judgments, give them their day. This man is admitting that he did this shit. Anybody defending this guy is a piece of garbage and is fucked up in the head. Young men don't realize how Satan will try to destroy their futures with their families and ministries. I just fucking...
sexy. What in the hell am I reading? They don't understand how men are made, and young men don't understand their actions are used by the devil to ruin the future God has for them. Other gods...
Satan didn't do it, motherfucker. You did it. And blaming some other shit for your actions is what's wrong with this society. It's not the LGBT. It's not gay people getting married. It's fucking people that do bad shit and then blame it on fucking made up fucking mythical crazy shit influencing them to do it. That's what's wrong with our society. It's not because kids are listening to rap music. It's not because kids play Call of Duty. It's because people believe that when they do bad stuff, it wasn't them. It was Satan. You're giving them the excuse to be fucked up people.
Godly men have been distracted by Satan. That's why older men need to mentor young men. That is an even worse idea.
Yeah,
Please do not have more older pastors mentoring young men. Young men don't realize how Satan will try to destroy their futures with their families and ministries. Again, this woman is a founder and pastor of a church, and she is saying stuff like this. It is a systemic problem. If a young girl came up to her and said, hey, one of the pastors at your church abused me, I can almost guarantee that this lady would try to cover it up and let it
100%.
go. People on Twitter are saying hashtag we found the groomers because, again, Republicans will constantly call left-wing people groomers. They call teachers groomers. They call
And like I said, this shouldn't be a political conversation, to be fucking honest. It shouldn't be left or right. It's just bad is bad, dude. It doesn't matter what political party it's coming from. And that's what I'm saying is like why people need to stop making this an insult. Because we're getting to this point where it's like people are just like, well, I'm just insulting the person or whatever. It's like, no, this is too important to not. Like, you have to label the people that do these things as such, and you need to stop using it as like a tongue-in-cheek insult for your enemy, or blame it on an entire group or whatever. Like, it needs to be understood that it doesn't matter if you're religious or non-religious. It doesn't matter if you're left or you're right. It doesn't matter if you're apolitical or libertarian or progressive, or you believe in God, you don't believe in God, you're a man, you're a woman, you're an LGBT. Anybody that does this shit is a bad person. And that's regardless of any of the other qualifying values that they have. Like, it doesn't matter. You're just a shit human being, and I don't need any other qualifiers. I don't need to know anything about you, whether or not you voted for Trump or Biden, or you're straight or gay. The only thing that matters is you fucked with a kid, and you're a horrible fucking human being. Jesus
LGBTQ
Christ.
people groomers, but when there is an actual pedophile who sexually assaulted women, it is justified because some young girls at 12 years old are very beautiful and sexy, according to Barbara Phillips' Little Page. It is wild. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like.
Dude. Good on Adam Mockler for covering this shit. I just failed horribly. I don't think I stopped cursing. Nobody fucking count how many times I cursed. Oh my god. Some shit just like, it breaks my brain how can you not see, how can you blame so many other people for the downfall of society and then look at something like this and not call that out as being, like, every person in every party right now should be on the same page. Across the political spectrum, every person should be denouncing this man. Like I said, this is not a case where he is defending his innocence. He has admitted to have harmed a child, and it's mind fucking boggling that not every single fucking person is saying, fuck that guy. This is where sometimes this shit, I get tired of this. Because it's like, it's exhausting to think that I should have to say that. It's exhausting to think that that there's going to be people that defend. That's fucking crazy. All right. Let's watch the MTG gets fact checked. Let's watch that. Get away from some of the. And thank you, chat. Thank you for being a good chat. I didn't see you guys. I know sometimes I instigate these conversations that turn into bad conversations in the chat. And thank you for just listening and not going that route. I appreciate that.
At the Turning Point USA convention in Detroit, Michigan. And when she did, she once again went to bat for the insurrectionists. And she went so far as to say that anyone who shames them can just go to hell. What was so great about all this is Patriot Takes came out with an older clip of March where back in January of 2021, after January 6th, she was singing a completely different tune. We're going to get to that in a little bit, but folks, we have saw them go back and forth on this one so many times. One minute they say, we're going to go to the Capitol, we're going to fight like hell, and we're going to take our country back. We're going to stop the steal. Then they get up there, all hell breaks loose. Then it was Black Lives Matter and Antifa. And then if you push them hard enough, no, it was us. We had every right to do it. They have played every side of this story that they possibly could play. They have tried so many times to trick us and gaslight us with videos and say, look, it was a peaceful day that day. I'm so sick of hearing them defend that day. But we're going to go through this clip of Marjorie Taylor Greene speaking at Turning Point. We're going to break it down piece by piece because there's...
Dude, Turning Point is insane. Like, it really is. The Turning Point thing is crazy. Is there an example of a convention on the left? Because I got a couple of you conservative guys in here. Is there a convention on the left that is, and I don't say there's like one blue-haired person talking about something that you disagree with. I mean, like, as crazy as Marjorie Taylor Greene, Steve Bannon, Alex Jones. Once again, these are the things that are like brain-breaking for me, and I think it's because you guys get so locked into like defending the party that you don't want the party that you're a part of to be degraded because in some way you feel like that like takes you down. But like Adam, my guy, like I talk to you and you seem like you have good values. You seem like a more of a traditional conservative person. Like it's not, you don't need to defend these people against me. You know, like the January 6th people, there were people there that were there to protest, and those people, when bad shit went down, were like, oh fuck, I better get out of here. Okay? And then there were people that were chanting Hank My Pence. There are people that broke in and broke windows and stuff. You can have both thoughts, that you're a conservative and you have values that these people may share, but they also don't represent you because of their actions. And this is what I'm trying to like teach people is that I don't say I'm a Democrat. I don't say I'm progressive, even though I have values that go along with those parties, because I don't want the party to represent me. Or to represent values for me. I want to represent my own values. And what I'm trying to fucking tell you guys is you can be a person that has conservative values and still look at people in the conservative party and say, those people shouldn't have broke into the Capitol and tried to stop the certification of an election. That's what they were literally trying to do. Or they were trying to hang Mike Pence, one or the other. And even though I could get behind a hang Mike Pence movement, because I'm pretty sure that motherfucker wants Handmaid's Tale like tomorrow, I still can't support them doing that, right? I can hold both those thoughts at the same time. I fucking hate Mike Pence. I don't think he should be hung. Yet. I mean, some of this shit's jokes. But you guys hear what I'm saying? Like, you should still be able. This is why you got to say to yourself, like, I have values. And they don't have to be represented by a party. They can be represented by who I am and what I do and my actions. And that's who I am. I don't necessarily need to be represented by a party of people. And though I may sometimes legitimately side with that party, when that party does things that I disagree with, I will point it out and I will say, that is not what we should be doing. We shouldn't be trying to stop the certification of an election, right? Like if that was the left, I'd be saying the same thing. If the evidence, I've said this before, you take your person out, you put your person in. You put Biden's name into all the shit that I've researched on the fake elector scheme, and I would be against what happened on January 6th, okay? If you are a Republican and you think about Joe Biden supporters doing what Trump supporters did, then you should be able to say to yourself, that would anger me if a bunch of people from the Democratic Party busted in to try to overturn or stall the certification of an election, which was what they're trying to do. If you read about the fake electors, you will realize that was part of a plan that was given to Donald Trump by a dude, apparently was like a ex-Army Ranger or some shit like that. You're not a bad person for being a conservative. You're not a bad person for having conservative values. But if you legitimately support people doing bad things because they're in the same party as you, then you're not a good person. That doesn't work, if you see what I'm saying.
a lot to unpack, and there's so much of it as I was watching. I was like,
I'm
wait
in
a minute.
so much trouble.
There's parts of this I'm going to want to butt in on real quick. So we're going to go along with her Turning Point USA speech, and then we're going to show you the clip that Patriot Takes put out where she was singing a different tune. But let's get the ball rolling. Here she is at Turning Point USA.
They stole the election, and I was a newly elected member of Congress, but they stole President.
Okay, so you can't say that the people that were there to peacefully protest and not do what I just said when you have their leaders standing up on a podium saying to the people that the election was stolen. That isn't a peaceful. You're not leading people towards peace by using rhetoric of this sort. I've been in leadership for 20 years, and I can tell you that language is being used on purpose to incite people. Whether or not we currently have a law that says it's illegal to do so, sure, that's another question. But as a leader, as a person that speaks to people and has spoken to people as a job for a very long time, I can tell you that when you are standing up there, you know the words that are coming out of your mouth. You know the effect they're having on people. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is trying to incite people, maybe not to violence, but she's trying to incite them to anger and hatred. This is the problem. These are the people that are attempting to divide you.
Trump's election.
See, I love how she got tripped up right there, right out of the gate. She's like, well, I won my election, but they stole his. That's always been so funny to me. It was a rigged election. It was a stolen election, but every Republican that won, those was legit, and the one that Donald.
But Adam, you know that in the Black Lives Matter riots, it's something like 14,000 people are arrested. You do know that, like fucking tons of people were arrested and tried in the Black Lives Matter. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And like I said earlier, Adam, she's a MAGA Republican. She's a MAGA Republican. But this is what I'm saying. We gotta stop with the parties thing. Just be you. Just be you. And even my language needs to get better about it because I've spent so much time talking about things in this like generic way. You know, like I think that MAGA Republicans as a whole, just like the people you were talking about earlier, the MAPS people, like those people can kind of be bonded into a group. They all have very similar ideologies. They do not stray from the playbook at all. They're very representative of the party and the policies they believe. But I don't think, Adam, I don't think you represent the things that I see from from MAGA Republicans. I don't think you 100% represent the thing I see from the religious right. I think you seem to represent things that are closer to the Barry Goldwater or the more financially involved Republicans or conservatives, more fiscally concerned. And I've seen lots of young conservative people in some of these like Jubilee debates and stuff that seem like really intelligent people that are working their way through the process of deciding, you know, what policies and values they have. And unfortunately, when we continue to talk about things because we've been branded with being, you have these values because you're this party or this party, it's made people more divided. And what we need to have is groups of people, or not even, I'm sorry, individuals that have values that may be similar to groups of people, but they are not part of the group, if that makes any sense.
Donald Trump lost. That was the one that was rigged. So if Joe Biden was this big mastermind who could rig elections in his favor, wouldn't he have rigged all of it in his favor? And wouldn't he have got rid of every Republican so he would only have Democrats to work with? I mean, that's called logic, but we know Marge has none, but she's just getting warmed up, folks. Take a look.
My wife lost the ability to speak.
The dad that I once knew no longer existed.
My husband forgot how to get to work.
Alzheimer's is taking.
Damn.
And heading into Washington, D.C., I thought to myself, I can't believe this. I'm from Georgia. I knew Georgia voted for Donald John Trump. I knew it.
You know, I'm sure she knows a whole lot of people in Georgia.
That's what I'm saying. Once again, if you are a leader, if you are a person used to speaking, you chose those words for a reason. Those are the words that you know will most likely divide the right from the left on purpose with anger, hate, and vitriol. Everybody should look at that type of tone, that type of just saying the thing that you know is going to make people the most upset, and should demean it. They should shame it. Because we keep talking about how our politicians don't represent us. We keep talking about how all politicians are corrupt. We talk about, like, you know, that like we our vote doesn't matter. All of these things, and then we look at a person like that has a ton of support from people. We should all be shaming that. We should all be saying, you can follow conservatives, you can follow Democrats, but if that's the type of rhetoric that they are standing up there and spewing out of their fucking mouth like diarrhea, I can't get behind that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are processes, and Donald Trump exhausted them. I keep saying this. I go, one of the silver linings to the Donald Trump situation is that I actually have more faith in our electoral process, because I actually believe there was more fraud in our electoral process than was proven through all of the things that Donald Trump did. Donald Trump investigated the electoral system more than any person has ever. This is like the one time that he should be saying the dumb shit that he says. I investigated it more than anybody. Didn't find any fraud. There was fraud there, but it was not to the levels that I previously thought there was. And we're talking about third parties that came in that Donald Trump paid for to come in and do these things. Did not find fraud. If anything, Donald Trump just made me more trustworthy of the electoral system by going through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Georgia that can't stand Donald Trump, but that doesn't mean the whole state went for him. It just goes to show what an echo chamber these people are truly in. But in this next clip, she talks about how she is proud that she protested the election. Take a look.
And so I called up some of my friends. I called up Jim Jordan. I called up Matt Gaetz. I called up some others. And I said, we got to get together and do something about this. And then I found out that as a member of Congress, I can object to electoral college votes. And so I organized with many of my colleagues. There was well over 130 of us. I called senators and asked them to object with us on January 6th. I worked diligently on that, and I'm very proud of it.
And all of this is acceptable in that way, that this is how our electoral process works. This is what you're allowed to do. That's totally fine. But I'll use the example of Kennedy and Nixon, when this is actually used in the fake electors as an attempt to excuse Donald Trump's actions. In the example of Kennedy and Nixon in Hawaii, there were two groups of electoral. There's always two groups of electoral. Okay, so let me explain real quick. When a president is going to run, or a primary candidate is going to run for the president for their party, they are not just elected by themselves. They're elected with a set of electoral candidates that will be the people that certify the results in that state. So if Joe Biden's going to run in Georgia, he's also running along with a certain amount of people. Different states have different rules, but for the majority of them, it's that they elect it through popular vote. Sometimes the party, whether it's Republican or Democrat, will also just choose the electors. But let's just use the example where the electors were voted on by the popular vote. So you have, let's say, 3 to 6 electors that are elected to run with the president as his electors to certify. So in the case where there was a recount going on in Hawaii between Kennedy and Nixon, and it was coming up to, I believe it was the electoral count, it's where it was going to be certified. December 14th, I think, was the day that it was going to be certified. Coming up on December 14th, the recount was still ongoing in Hawaii. Also, they were switching over governors during that point. So the pre-elected electorals weren't going to no longer be certified and were no longer going to be able to vote for either president. So Nixon created his own electorate. Kennedy created his own electorate. And then it turned out that Kennedy won Hawaii, and it was before the December 14th deadline. So at that point, they had already sent the votes from Nixon to the vice president, who happened to be Nixon, okay? And they had already sent the votes from Kennedy to Nixon as well. And then the governor, who then came into office, created his own electorate, the legal electorate, and they sent those votes to Nixon. And when Nixon received those 3 votes, one from him, one from the governor, and one from Kennedy, he said, I will recognize the legitimate electorate of Hawaii. That is what you're supposed to do. Nixon was running for fucking president. If there was any reason ever to be a complete douchebag, and we all know Nixon wasn't exactly a non-criminal person, maybe less of a felon than Donald Trump, but we all know he wasn't exactly, you know, the most honest dude ever. And even he said, I am going to recognize the results of this fair election. And the reason he did that, and the important reason that he did that, is because when you constantly call into account whether or not the election process is honest and trustworthy, you start to create a worse divide amongst the American people. You start to lend credence to conspiracy theories that, even if they're not meant to, will eventually create a type of divide that is unhealable between those that want to trust in the American politicians, trust in the American government, trust in its people, trust in the process of becoming a better country, a more successful country, one where everybody can have rights and feel good about helping each other, and the people that want to believe in doomerism. And that is that everything is corrupt, everything is bad, the only thing to do is to throw the baby out with the bathwater, burn the entire nation down, restart it. And specifically right now, what you have is a Christian nationalist movement that believes that we've, slid down the slippery slope into deviancy, and that we're all going to become these hedonistic Nero types that are just going to do the worst possible things to everybody and everything, and America is going to die. You can't do that. That's what's wrong with this speech. It's not that she used her abilities in Congress to do something that she thought was pertinent to the subject. It's that in doing so, she feels it's okay to go out and continue to incite people through her speeches and continue to get them riled up and freaked out about whether or not the election process is trustworthy or not. You should still be allowed to do the things that she did, but you shouldn't be out there inciting people to want to be hateful and angry and violent. It's bad. It's bad.
Proud that I objected to Joe Biden's electoral college votes on January 6th.
So she's proud of the fact that she objected to the election results. But what she's not saying is that Donald Trump peddled every conspiracy theory that he could because he wasn't man enough to accept defeat.
Did he do that?
Time and time again, he kept getting told there was no election fraud. There's nothing here that can overturn the election. He kept saying, just find me the votes. He tried every way in the world he could to flip it back in his favor. That's the part she's not telling here. But go on, Marge.
And this is their safe space. She can say whatever she wants in this area and not fear being criticized by that crowd. And this is what I'm saying is the problem, is this is no longer a constituency. This is a fan base. And if you are going to turn America into a set of fan bases, that's not a good place to be. I'm making this video on the Civil War right now, on the potential of another Civil War. And I've been covering all the different things as far as like infrastructure and what would happen to the economy and all these things. And I can tell you this right now. There is zero positive outcomes from Americans fighting Americans. And I don't know how stupid a person has to be to believe this kind of stuff, or how mentally broken you would have to be to believe this kind of stuff. But Americans fighting Americans is a lose-lose situation for everybody involved. There are no winners. Take a look at places like Libya, places like Syria. And yes, those countries weren't financially where we were, but we have a great example of where we were. America during the Civil War was in a great place, and we were impacted insanely. We still have wounds that have not healed to today. Today is Juneteenth. We are still dealing with the scars and wounds of our history, and you wanna just throw some more abuse in there? You wanna throw some more bad shit in there? You wanna attack a fellow American because Marjorie Taylor Greene has gotten you worked up to the point that you think that's a good idea? Do you understand the amount of job losses, infrastructure, businesses being closed, the devaluation of the dollar? You're talking about how bad the economy is right now, and then you're talking about a second civil war. Do you know what the economy would be like if we had a second civil war? Do you think it would just be over in 30 minutes? This isn't like a fucking street fight where you get gassed after 15 seconds. If you had the innumerable amount of parties that would get involved in this type of thing, you would have criminals, you would have the military, you would potentially have people on the left, you would potentially have people on the right, as well as people that are MAGA Republicans, because there's tons of people on the right that don't agree with MAGA Republicans. You would have foreign adversaries coming across a completely open border, because then it would actually be completely open, because you would have Chinese, Russian, everything, fucking North Korean, everybody would be flooding across this border into our country to do damage. The only person that wins in a second civil war are foreign adversaries. America does not recover from a second civil war. Fucking quote me on that shit.
And then I was shocked, absolutely shocked.
We lost more Americans
at what happened that day.
Than any
Americans
conflict
protested
ever.
An election. By the way,
we lost more Americans to captivity in the Civil War than we did in almost more Americans. Sorry, it's like 90%. There's like 90% of the Vietnam casualties were equaled Civil War people that were just captured, people that died in captivity.
American
it would
citizens
be way worse
own the elections. American citizens pay for the elections. Your tax dollars pay for it. And American citizens have a God-given right by our Constitution to have free and fair elections.
Yeah, you don't.
See, that's just it. It was a free and fair
enough.
election, and they couldn't accept the results. This has nothing to do with their tax dollars. This has nothing to do with their feelings about the election. This is because they bought into a bunch of conspiracy theories and got all worked up and went up there to overthrow their government.
That's fucking spot on. That's the most basic and easy way to say the shit that he just said. They got all worked up by conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorist grifters. And it's fucking sad.
Government. And Marge just continues to give them a pass.
And you have the right. You have...
No. I disagree with Tennessee Branda there. She doesn't continue to give him a pass. She continues to ride his coattails to grifter victory. That's what this is all about. This isn't about America. This is about Marjorie Taylor Greene staying relevant. This is about Carrie Lake staying relevant. This is about Steve Bannon and Mike Lindell, Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump, all of them staying relevant, because the end game here is not America or America's interest. The end game here is these people doing their best to benefit financially from your anger and your hate, and they don't give a shit whether or not you harm other people that are just like you, that are on the same level as you. They're just as bad as the ultra wealthy. Some of them are the ultra wealthy. It's just as bad as corporations. They're just as bad as all of these people that we dislike. They are nothing like you. They just want to profit off of your hate and your anger for your fellow American.
The right to bring your grievances before your government. Because guess what?
Stay on.
You elect that government, and your tax dollars pay for that government, and the American people empower that government. So if you don't feel good about the election, there's nothing wrong with protesting it, and there was nothing...
That's called indirect language, and this is my problem with the Trump speech. Like I said, as a leader, you know the words that are coming out of your mouth. You know the effects they have. When I sit up here and I talk on this channel, I know that sometimes the things that I say could possibly be regarded as being something that would make people want to do something about something that we dislike. When we're talking about the pastor, like, I am aware that the things that I say could be harmful, and I do my best to make sure that I qualify things correctly and make people understand that there's no need to do these things to each other. There's no need. You're not going to come out on top. You're only going to lose in these situations. But even Donald Trump's speech on the day of January 6th, he is using very indirect language that could potentially be inciting, and he's very good about hedging his bets. Marjorie Taylor Greene, on the other hand, there's no doubt. The thing she's saying when she's like peacefully protesting, you know that she's not talking about peacefully protesting. And you know that from her other comments, from the other things she's talked about. You take the example of who they are from the body of their work. Not from one thing they say, not from one thing they did, but from the body of their work. And she says angry, insightful shit all the time. Multiple times she has said, I have zero problems with saying that I am a Christian nationalist. If you guys don't believe me, if you think that I'm lying, if you think that I'm making that up, please go look it up. Go see if she said, I have no problem saying I'm a Christian nationalist. That's what she says. I don't need to say it. She says
what's wrong with protesting the election on January 6th. And any Democrat,
what Joshua just said, yeah.
That's right. And any Democrat and any person from the mainstream media and anyone that wants to continue to shame us for January 6th can go to hell.
Why are people... See, you want us to continue to shame you? Like I said, shame is the tool. Shame is the idea of this channel. To mock the far extreme and say, look at that. That's not who you should be. Are you a good person or are you one of these people? Shame needs to exist. Shame should be used in the correct way. Like I said, there are incorrect ways to use shame. But in this instance, where you have people that are potentially going to harm other people, when you have people that are potentially going to interrupt the democratic process of a nation that you live in, fucking shame those people. Mock those people. Those people are going to do something that they think in their heads, because of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, is productive, that is going to end in nothing but negativity, in nothing but a lose-lose situation for America.
This is our wonderful priest, Father Brown.
There's been a murder.
We will get to the bottom of this.
I'll give her this much. You do have a right to protest, and you do have a right to bring your grievances, but you do not have a right to go to the Capitol and hit police officers upside the head.
Exactly.
You do not have the right to go up there and bust out windows and kick down doors.
Exactly.
You do not have a right to start a riot.
What a bucket.
Just because you pay taxes
bucket.
and just because your tax dollars goes to elections does not give you the right to go up there and use violence. And notice, she never called it out. She never said one word about, hey, there was some bad stuff happened on that day. But Patriot Takes came out with this really good video of her back in January 2021 when she admitted out loud that, yeah, there was Republicans and it really derailed their message. Take a look at this.
Is so many reports of Antifa being embedded in that breach on the Capitol, but I want to tell you something because I was there myself. Yes, Antifa was involved, but there were also Trump supporters involved as well. And I denounced the violence that happened at the Capitol. It was terrifying.
And why don't see, this is what I'm saying. There is nothing that can be more for certain, right, than you coming out here and saying something like this and then completely changing your tone to deny these types of things. That the grift can only be so obvious. You know, they can only hit you directly in the face with it before there's no further for it to go. Like, I mean, at that point, if they hit you directly in the face with it and you still don't believe it, then you lost. I got nothing for you. When she came out and says this, that's the right thing to do. And she should be applauded for saying the right thing. But when she goes a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line, and she's obviously grifting by acting as though she's never said these words, that has to be called out. That has to be shamed. Because the appropriate thing for her to do, if she believes that this election was stolen, the responsible thing for Marjorie Taylor Greene to do, if she believes that the election was stolen, is to stand up there as a leader on that podium and say, I want you guys to understand that the actions on January 6th are not something that is beneficial for our nation. I do not agree with the results of the election. I think that maybe there's some things that should be better looked into, but we exhausted our efforts to look into this election, and it does not seem like there is enough fraud for it to be overturned. However, you have the right to protest these results peacefully, and if you act like those people on January 6th did, and you harm officers of the law, if you break windows to get in the Capitol building, if you try to stall the certification of an election, you are in the wrong. So please, protest peacefully, vote for the people that you think are the best for the job, but do not take those actions. There's a way she could say it, but she doesn't. And that should fucking trigger your fucking warning system. That should make you immediately suspicious of her. But it does the opposite. That's crazy.
And it shouldn't have happened because it truly did derail our objection efforts.
For like a minute?
It put an ugly stain on what MAGA.
You want to know why she said this stuff, Bucket? If I'm just like getting in Marjorie Taylor Greene's fucking empty ass head for 2 seconds because I know there's a lot of room. The reason she did that was because she thought Trump was done. She thought that was the end because she saw how serious that shit was. Every one of those people were shitting their pants in the House when that shit was going on. In the Senate, they were all shitting their pants. Marjorie Taylor Greene was probably watching it. Even Trump, they said that Trump was like, oh, fuck. Like, every one of these people thought that people were still sane. Every one of these people saw what was going on January 6th, and they're like, fuck, I better denounce this immediately or else my career is over. And this is why I've said this before. It's not them, it's the people. What's it say in that video with the fucking Iranian guy or whatever? Democracy is for the people. But the people are retarded. That's not my word. I'm quoting a video, so don't get mad at me. My wife's getting mad at me because I said the word. It's literally quoted from the video. And that's why she said that shit. Which is all of them panicked. All of them like, oh, fuck. That wasn't supposed to get this crazy. And then when that shit happened, they were like, oh, God, like, we better get out there and make... Look at how many people. Wasn't like Nancy Mace did that shit as well. Like, there was tons of people that came out and denounced it immediately. And then when people got behind them and were like, fuck that, fuck these people, fuck these Democrats, then all of a sudden they were like, oh, shit. Oh, they liked it? They liked it? And that's when the grift really started happening.
I mean.
So my question is this. Why didn't she stick to that talking point? Why is she up there telling people now that we can go to hell for shaming them for that day that they had every right to do it? Not one time at Turning Point did she call out the violence because she's playing in to the hands of the lowest common denominator. Her base is the absolute bottom of the barrel, and we will sit here and call them out to the end of the world. And if there's a hell below, we'll go with you, Marge, and we'll hold your hand. Because it's absolutely ridiculous that you have sat here and coddled these people and called them patriots and called them hostages after what they done. Folks, I will never forget the sick feeling I had in my stomach that day watching it. Just watching it unfold and going, well, this is it.
Shame on my cow.
Donald Trump has proved what we've said about him all along. He's proved that he's exactly what we said that he was. I thought that was the end of it. I thought that was it. I thought that proved our point.
See? I didn't pre-watch this video, just so you guys know. I don't pre-watch any of these videos. That's what I'm saying. Right there. He even thought. Everybody with a brain. Everybody with 2 brain cells left. Like, I was more like, January 6th was 9/11-ish, right? And I don't mean in damage. Calm down, conservatives. You guys about to be like, ah! I mean in like the disbelieving, my disbelief. Right? Like, when 9/11 happened, I was working at a grocery store, and I was there at about 5 in the morning stocking groceries. And I remember hearing on the news, we were all listening to the news when it happened. And I remember hearing that shit, and I was like, nah, that's weird. An airplane in a building? That's so weird. And I just went on working. Like, whatever, that's kind of weird. Fuck, we'll see that on the news later. And then a little bit later, the one crashed outside the Pentagon. The second one hit the other building. And I was like, it was hard to believe, right? It was one of those things where you're like, can that happen? Would that happen? Who would do that? And January 6th was the same. Because all the protesters and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, that's just MAGA. That's just Trump constituents. That's what they do. They like the fair. They like the grandiosity. They like the costumes. They're like literally like grown-up cosplayers of like a really shitty comic. And so I was like, that's just whatever, right? But once that shit turned into them actually busting into the Capitol, I was like a little bit like, my brain doesn't understand. Why the fuck would they do this? Who the fuck would be this stupid to do this? Now, I'm a person that grew up getting arrested, so I know, like, you break into a place, they usually put handcuffs on you. That's what happens. I also recognize that even trespassing on somebody's property can get your ass in trouble. So maybe I'm just a little different, but I watch that shit going like, no fucking way they're doing this right now. And I think anybody with a brain had that same reaction. No fucking way they're doing this right now. This is over for them. That's why it's so insane right now that we're sitting here talking about the chance that Donald Trump might be the next president. This should not be happening. This is insane.
I thought that he would be held accountable. But no, we're still, here we are in 2024. He's the presumptive nominee. He's still running for office, and people like Marjorie Taylor Greene is still going out there and calling these people patriots and hostages and condoning that bullshit. That's where we came to. That's the point we made it to. I was so naive. I feel so stupid for thinking back then on January 6th of 2021, well, this should be the end of it.
Yep.
I mean, this proves they're exactly who they say they were. But no, they've had ever since January 6th of 2021 to double down and quadruple down on their rhetoric and keep pushing it. So they're never going to change, and they're never going to hold each other to account. Folks, you might as well forget it. They're not going to take responsibility. They're going to continue to push the grift, and they're going to continue to get behind Donald Trump no matter what. He can insult their wives. He can insult their husbands. He can insult their physical appearance. He can insult their families. He can say whatever he wants to say. They're just going to go along with it. Because once the MAGA base, once Trump's base is taken out of the Republican Party, if they discredit that, they got nothing. Because the Republican Party has no ideas. They didn't have any for a long time. If Donald Trump hadn't came along.
What did Lindsay Prather say? Lindsay, and she's a Democrat, just before you guys get too upset here, okay? Lindsay Prather said, what is it? The left has bad ideas and the right has no ideas. And I was like, damn. That's probably the best saying I've ever heard before.
When he did, we still wouldn't have seen a Republican in office. It wouldn't have happened because they were trying to run on such ancient ideas. They had nothing. But Donald Trump found a way to be the cult of personality and get everything off the rails. He was able to capitalize on it and take those old ancient ideas and pull them right up now, right up till today, and use them to weaponize them against people in 2024.
No, you don't. You miss it. It's the left has no ideas and the right has bad ideas. And the reason she's saying that, and mind you, she's a Democrat, is because most of the stuff that they would try to push through in the past would never get passed, right? So it's like, as much as I love Bernie, he's a good dude. He's a real dude. He was an activist. I think that Bernie represents a lot of really good values that I also represent. But it was always the things that he believed just would never make it through the Congress and the Senate, because there are even Democrats that wouldn't vote for him, wouldn't vote for his policies. And so that's the idea. The left has no ideas. The right has bad ideas. That was the point of what she said.
He drove our country back 100 years. He took us back to a place I never thought we would be. Growing up, I would hear my mom talk about how things used to be. I would hear my grandpa talk about how things used to be. And I thought that was in the rearview mirror. I thought we were past that.
Yeah.
Turns out Their intentions was to take us right back to it.
That's crazy. I want to go back. It's so crazy to be that regressive. It's just not. You shouldn't want to be regressive. Like, the rest of the world is moving on, my friends. AI and like the legitimacy of like real fucking AI making life easier for everyday Americans is like maybe 10 years from now, guys. Like, most of us in this chat could see AI make our lives easier, give you more life or more time to perform like arts, to play music, to read, to enrich yourself, to educate yourself, to spend more time with your family, spend more time with your significant others, spend more time traveling. And it's like we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we just can't help ourselves. We got to fuck it up before we get there. It's like we don't want things to be that good. We have to have nasty, gross amounts of adversity. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, are you guys talking about DEI? Uh-oh. I'm going to let you guys handle this one because you guys don't want me getting involved. All right, this is Trump crashes and burns at Unhinged rally because this is Brian Tyler Cohen, and I haven't played any Brian Tyler Cohen for so long. And Brian Tyler Cohen is my guy. If there is one dude that I could actually like link up with and like fucking hang out and talk about shit with, it'd be Brian. Because, dude, he is dope. I also want to ask him where he gets some sharp-ass suits from.
Oh, and you know, I love Milwaukee. I was the one that picked Milwaukee, I have to tell you. I was the one that picked it. These lying people that...
Come on, man. See, this is something I've always said. This is why I don't like doing drama and gossip. Just don't talk shit, dog. Like, you know how you got that one friend that's like, yeah, I don't like Brian. Fuck Brian. Fucking, yeah, if I ever saw him again, I'd punch him right in the face. That's right. Like, I don't like, blah, blah. And they talk all that shit, and then they see each other, and he's like, hey, what's up, Brian? What's going on, man? And you're like, thought you said you were gonna punch him in the... He's like, I was just playing, bro. Just playing. And they're like, nah, whatever. Just don't talk shit. Like, how hard is it? How hard is it to just not say dumb shit for Donald Trump? Don't say Milwaukee sucks, and then you don't have to go on stage and be like, I never said that. It's like, it's that easy. Just stop talking shit, man. Just be like a professional. Be a politician. Do you guys remember a time when, like, if Bill Clinton said some shit like that, that shit would be plastered across every newspaper in the country? Bill Clinton says Milwaukee is garbage. Like, it would be on every newspaper. Bill Clinton would be up there. I did not say that Milwaukee was a bad place. I am so sorry if that's how it came out. I apologize to the people of Milwaukee. And instead, we're literally in a place now where Donald Trump just gets the thing and goes, I didn't say that. What a bunch of liars. What the fuck?
They say, oh, he doesn't like Milwaukee. I love Milwaukee. I said, you got to fix the crime. We all know that. You got to make sure the election's honest. But I'm the one that picked Milwaukee, and the Democrats or the radical left lunatics, as I call.
Did you see, we're going to replay what he just said. Dustin, did you see that South Africa is voting on UBI? I know, Don. What up, Don? Dude, I have an issue where, like, I will talk like people if I listen to them too much. And so I actually have to stop myself from the Trump impression. So I make bad Trump impressions instead. South Africa is currently has up for vote UBI. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see how UBI affects a country that genuinely has a bad economic situation. I'm not against other countries trying stuff before we pick it up. You know, so I would like to see what UBI looks like in South Africa. And I'll tell you this, if they fucking come out of that looking glistening and clean, I'm going to hate all of you guys that was against UBI, just so you guys know, okay? Just want you guys to know that.
What they say is just so terrible. Democrats or the radical Milwaukee and the Democrats or the radical left lunatics, as I call them, what they say is just so terrible. They lie. They have a horrible candidate. They have a candidate that has no clue, doesn't know where he is, and all they can do is lie. I love it. I'm the one that picked Milwaukee.
Right off the bat, it is Donald Trump on the defensive.
What the hell, man? How do people listen to this guy? It's just fucking like, God damn it. Yeah. Go ahead, Brad.
As he has to clean up his own mess. Because just days ago, it was reported that Trump called Milwaukee a, quote, horrible city, which is less than ideal, not only because Wisconsin is a swing state and very important in this upcoming election, but the Republican National Convention is quite literally in Milwaukee. So it should come as no surprise that Trump's first order of business at this Kenosha rally was to try to claw back some shred of goodwill from the people of Wisconsin in the immediate aftermath of just shitting on them. But settle in, because this rally got so much worse, like here.
Less than 4 years ago, our border was secure, inflation was nowhere to be seen, the world was at peace, and America was strong and respected. We were respected all over the world. None of this stuff would have been happening that's happened now with Russia and Ukraine and the attack on Israel. None of it would have been happening. We would have had a...
And that's how simple it is for him. Like, he doesn't have to give you any, like, plan or how he would have fixed it or any of these things. It's just, I'm me. And you guys know me. Like, I would have just... That shit just would never happened. It would have just disappeared. It would have just disappeared. Forget the fact that in 2017 and 18... that mercenaries were actually attacking Ukraine during my time, and I sold them $47 million in Javelin missiles. Forget the fact that I was holding the money for those missiles hostage to try to get Joe Biden investigated. Yeah, forget all that. Forget that those things happened while I was in office, because that's what everybody did. Nobody remembers that the Ukrainians were fighting already on their Western Front while Donald Trump held on to $47 million worth of Javelin missiles, which he eventually gave to them, but he made them store in the East because he made it so they couldn't be anywhere near the fucking battle lines. Because he's kind of a dick. Yeah, like I said, you guys don't have to believe me on this shit. Look it up. Fucking Google it. I'm not one of these influencers sitting up here telling you to believe everything I say. Go look that shit up. 2017, I believe they're delivered in July of 2018. I believe there was 10 Javelin missiles, $47 million. Look that shit up.
And we wouldn't have had a thing called inflation. That would have been nice
universal
too.
basic income.
But it was a different place 4 years ago, I think. But now we're going to make it better and bigger and stronger than ever before.
Better and bigger and stronger.
4 years ago, the world was at peace. 4 years ago, in June of 2020, the world was in the throes of a historic, deadly, raging pandemic. 4 years ago, we were storing...
It's gonna be fine. It's just one person. Once the sun comes out, it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna have a great summer. It'll be gone by Easter. It was one person at an airport. We got him. We got him.
Bodies in freezer trucks. 4 years ago, people were being buried in mass graves. 4 years ago, the ICUs were full. When this guy says that the world was at peace, I really don't want to see what he thinks chaos looks like.
I did not know these things.
Folks, I hate asking for money. It's my least favorite part of running for office. I know how hard you work.
Joe,
you can afford it. I can't tell you how grateful I'd be to have your support today.
Y'all send Joe some money. Stop sending Trump money.
Folks like you. In 2020,
Joe and his handlers are insisting he's sharper than ever. And they say the videos of Crooked Joe shuffling around are clean fakes. You know what a clean fake is?
Oh, God. I don't need this in my life. I don't need fucking Donald Trump explaining to me the new terminology from news media. Look, at the end of the day, there's a picture of Joe Biden, and he has turned away from the people, the chancellor, the fucking prime minister, all those people. And this was literally debunked by the people that were there. The people that were there said Joe Biden turned around to the paratroopers, the people that parachuted in with the flags, and was giving one of them a thumbs up, and then had walked off, not wandered off, walked off to give them all a handshake. He went to say hi to all of the people that parachuted in with flags. And to be fucking honest with you, I'm okay with that. Can people be human? Is it okay for our politicians to be human? Can they go and shake the hands of the guys that parachuted out? Because I'll be honest with you guys, if I was a president of the United States of America and some motherfuckers parachuted in with my flag, I'd be over there giving them a secret fucking handshake, high-fiving them, telling them how cool I thought they were. That shit's dope. Like, it's okay to do that. We live in this weird fucking world where it's like, bam, got him. He turned around. Look at him standing there. Like, it is fine to point out people's gaffes when they happen, but this weird world we live in now where it's like dude goes over to shake the hands of a paratrooper and somebody takes a fucking picture while he's walking off and they're like, look, old man walking. Like, it's gotta stop. It's just making things worse. It's just making it all worse. It's like political theater. Like, I'll tell you this. I want less politicians on the news. My channel is fucking doing well off this shit. I'll be fucking honest with you. Not making any money, but I'm getting a lot of views. But I'd give that shit up tomorrow if it meant less politicians on TV and more politicians doing work. Like, we need to get rid of this idiocracy style American Idol populism bullshit. It needs to be, we see you at debates, we see you doing work, we see you making a speech during the State of the Union address to fucking address our concerns. All this other celebrity bullshit needs to fucking burn in a fire. Had enough. Had enough.
They're deceptively edited. They say they're deceptively edited. All of the mistakes that he's made every day. He can't go anywhere without a mistake.
Good job, Cindy.
Now, if I'm perfect,
you,
they say he made a mistake.
Thank you for subscribing.
Perfect. And I don't say clean fakes, although they do. They do that. They do that. They're the fake news. Look how many you have out there. They're all over the place.
Oh, nothing. Just Donald Trump trying to claim that Biden is in cognitive decline by calling cheap fakes clean fakes. Not to be too petty here, but if you're going to criticize someone and claim that they're stupid...
Nah, so what you saw, Adam, what you saw was he turns and he gives a thumbs up and he's saying something to one of the paratroopers. This is from people that don't need to... They don't have to defend Joe Biden. It's in their best interest to make America look weak. And they didn't. They're like, look, as much as, yeah, it was like a goofy thing to do. It's like wandering off to fucking kiss the forehead of a baby. He's done that shit too. It's a human thing to do. And like I said, we should be encouraging our politicians to be more human. That shit I saw, like, once again, this shit doesn't need to be on the news, but it was. The Italian lady and the fucking, I don't know who the other guy was, whatever country he was from. And how it was like they're making googly eyes and shit at each other. I was like, I'm for that. Fuck, we can bond a couple countries. Should we get back to that where fucking like people marry the fucking prime minister or the queen or whatever? Is that what we need in this world to start having some continuity to like fucking be okay with our people being human again? He turns around, he smiles, he gives the dude a thumbs up, and he says something about it like being cool. But then after that, what they don't show is him walk over to the fucking paratroopers and start trying to shake their hands. And then the lady comes over and moves his ass back because she says, what she tells him is she goes, they're all going to walk through the line and shake all of our hands, sir. You don't need to worry about it. You'll get to shake their hands. Like, you should be happy that the dude wanted to be, like, cool with these people. He was being a human being. Like, I'm not going to shit on Donald Trump for that. If Donald Trump goes over and shakes everybody's hands, that's a non-fucking thing for me to care about. I'm like, good job. Shake their hands. They're cool people. They did a good job.
Maybe at least have a modicum of a clue what you're talking about. Also, while we're on the topic of cheap fakes, which are basically just deceptively edited videos intended to manipulate audiences into thinking that someone did something that they didn't do, Look no further than this video from Murdoch-owned New York Post purporting to show Joe Biden wandering aimlessly at the G7. Only, small problem, when you widen the frame, you could see that he wasn't so much wandering aimlessly as he was acknowledging a parachutist who just landed a few feet away from him. But then I guess we shouldn't be surprised that a guy who's physically incapable of telling the truth is backed up by a media ecosystem just as willing to lie as he is.
He's going to be so pumped up. He's going to be pumped up. You know all that stuff that was missing about a month ago from the White House?
Dude, I'm just saying this. If Joe Biden was convicted of felonies, if Joe Biden was accused of having an affair with a porn star while his baby mama was at home with a 2-month-old, and then it was talked about in court by his friends, who were still his friends, and then he was convicted. If Joe Biden was convicted in a civil trial of sexual abuse, if Joe Biden denied that the people that tried to stop the certification of an election, if he did any of these things that Donald Trump did, I would not vote for him. God damn it. But Donald Trump said it. He said, I can shoot a man on 5th Avenue and they'd still vote for me. He didn't even know he was right. He had no idea. His narcissistic tendencies told him that was true. And then like I said about January 6th, when that shit happened and all these people just kept following him, he was like, oh, fuck, never mind. I can. I'm just like Putin. Like, come on.
What happened? Who left it? Somebody left it there. I wonder, let's see, somebody left a laptop in an office of a gentleman who was supposed to fix the laptop from hell. He never picked it up, and somebody didn't pick up hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine. I wonder who that could have been. I don't know.
Wait. What?
Actually, I think it was Joe.
What? Wait, what? Hold on. What the fuck? Hold on.
Pumped up. You know all that stuff that was missing about a month ago from the White House? What happened? Who left it? Somebody left it there. I wonder, let's see, somebody left a laptop in an office of a gentleman who was supposed to fix the laptop from hell. He never picked it up, and some...
Wait, what the fuck is he saying? Is he saying that the laptop was left in the White House? This is your stable genius?
Somebody didn't pick up hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine. I wonder who that could have been. I don't know.
Thousands of dollars worth of cocaine weren't
Actually,
picked up.
I think it was Joe.
And there's the fear creeping in that Trump's going to have a
hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine. Did I miss something in the news? I don't know. Chat, tell me. Yeah, somebody tell me what the fuck I'm missing here. When was when was the laptop found in the White House? And what does hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine needing to be picked up? Where did this happen?
Bad debate performance against Joe Biden. And so in an effort to preempt that bad performance, he's already seeding this idea that Biden's on drugs, and so that's why Trump's going to lose. I'd really love if someone could explain to me which one it is. Is Biden in the throes of cognitive decline, doesn't know his own name, can't remember what day of the week it is, or is Biden so energetic that the only plausible explanation is that he must be on drugs? Take all the time you need with that one. And just one more point on this. Here's David Pakman putting on a master...
Before Brian gets into this and letting David Pakman talk about this, at the end of the day, guys, I don't know how anybody can vote for a presidential candidate that would do that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot to disparage about some of the policies that Joe Biden has chosen or the things that he's chosen not to do. But it is insane that this guy can stand up there and say this dumb shit over and over and over again, and it has little to no effect on the outcome of the election. The fact that we are sitting here talking about that this is a close race just makes me feel so untrusting of Americans. Like, I want to believe in you guys. I want to have faith in the American people. I want to give people grace for the times that they are wrong and hope that they can do better. But when I see people fucking that are up there like saying like that's who they want, like I don't know what to say. Like I'm looking forward to these debates, guys. Not because I think Joe Biden's going to own Donald Trump. Because I want to see. Because I genuinely want to see how Joe Biden does in the debate. I want to see him get up there and do his damn thing. And if he's capable. And look, if he's not, then it'll be exposed. But I don't have a predetermined outcome. I want to see what's going to happen. But these people don't care. If Trump gets up there and Joe Biden slaughters his ass on the stage, it's going to be because Biden's on cocaine. If Biden gets up there and he does poorly, then it's because Biden's senile. I don't know why people can't see that Donald Trump is literally setting himself up to win no matter what in the debate. He either wins because the other side had cheated, or he wins because he did better, but no matter what, he's going to win. That's literally how he has approached every fucking problem since like 2012. Was everybody's rigged everything. If I lose, if I win, then it was proper. And if Joe Biden, every time he got on stage, talked about things being rigged, I'd be like, dude, stop. Shut the fuck up. Because it seems now like you're just setting yourself up to lose, and when you do, you're going to have an excuse. It's fucking crazy.
Class and how to deal with these Republicans who spout these talking points.
Pro-Vigil, Adderall, I don't know, whatever. But he's on something that's amping him up because he's a different dude.
Let's talk about Adderall and Pro-Vigil. Now we're in substance. Now we're getting into it, right?
I don't know who we're talking to.
Adderall and Ritalin, they work 4 to 6 hours. The idea that Byron Donalds presented on your channel, that by the end of a 1-hour speech he's fading, not how Adderall and Ritalin work, and Adderall.
It's actually a good call because I've used Adderall when I was like 22-ish. That's when I was stocking at that grocery store. And I can tell you this. You guys think I talk a lot now? Dude, give me Adderall and I am a fucking demon, okay? I just talk the whole time while slicing up like case stacks worth of product. I was filling aisles full of shit and telling stories at the same time. Let me tell you, it's not an hour. It's a long one.
And Ritalin famously don't cover up cognitive decline, and when there is cognitive decline, can generate anxiety and more difficulty speaking. So Adderall, Ritalin wouldn't do what you're saying.
So you're saying there's no drug that could be serving as a performance enhancer for Joe Biden in these situations.
You're jumping ahead. Let me get through it. So Adderall and Ritalin wouldn't do what you're suggesting. Pro-Vigil has a 12 to 15 hour duration. So again, like Byron Donald goes, you can tell because it wears off at the end of an hour. It doesn't work that way. And also Pro-Vigil's effect on dementia is...
Look at that face you just made. Look at the face you just made. This is... Yeah, okay, everything you're saying is making sense, but I don't like that. That's what this face says right here, okay?
Again, like Byron Donald goes, you can tell because it wears off at the end of an hour. It doesn't work that way, and...
Right there. That right there is, sure, dude, that all makes sense, but it doesn't agree with my narrative. Like I said, why have people grown so obstinate about admitting when the facts are right in front of your face? It's okay to say, okay, that makes sense. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe there's some other things that we could talk about. I mean, they're going to continue to talk, obviously, right now. But, like, that face says, yeah, but. Come on,
Also,
man.
Pro-Vigil's effect on dementia is 0. So now let me turn it around to you. You tell me the drug. It's weird to say, I think there might be a drug. David, tell me which one it is. You tell me what drug would do what you're suggesting.
That's what I'm saying.
If you want to get a flat belly at your 60s, do this.
Oh, shit.
In this app,
brother.
A personalized plan of short chair workouts is tailored for me.
Guys, we all need to be watching this. We're going to watch this commercial because all of us
just 10 minutes a day. It's simple and safe, without sweating and without equipment.
Okay.
All I need to do is open the app every day and follow along.
I'm not going to lie, I want to look just like this, man.
Is the key.
I want that beard.
My overall physical and mental
trying to
state
be yoked
improved.
like that?
My body became toned and mobile, and joint.
All right, that's enough of that.
Now, to be fair, okay, you've done two things there, okay, and we're shifting burdens of proof. But my burden of proof is
you
not.
You asserted drugs, and I'm asking you what drugs.
I did not. Hold on, walk with me here. First, the Byron Donalds argument is a straw man with me because you specifically rebutted that it wears off. I never said that, and I don't think that undercuts or rebuts the idea that he could be.
He's like, look, I'm not the one that said he was coming down, even though you're saying in the argument that at the end he's coming down.
Could be on some type of performance enhancer. I also didn't make the affirmative statement that he is on performance enhancers. What I said to you is, you have contended that's absurd. Look at the guy. This is evidence of his cognitive abilities that he can rally for these big moments. What I'm telling you is my co-host or anybody else that says, or somebody sitting at the backyard barbecue says, he's injected on all kinds of things to amp him up for the debate is not an absurd supposition. I don't have to prove the affirmative on it. I just have to tell you, you rejecting it is.
Oh my God, that's such like debate bro bullshit. Look, dog, you know what the fuck you're saying. You know you're trying to say the man is on. This is not a fucking subject that needs to be turned into some type of crazy semantic debate. You are asserting that he is on drugs. You are asserting that the reasons that you know he's on drugs is because any other time he's completely cognitive collapsing, and that at the end of this State of the Union that he's obviously coming down. And his assertion is that the drug lasts longer. That doesn't make any sense. That's a pretty firm defense that is absurd. Like Joe Biden took it at 6 that morning or something because he just wanted to fucking feel it the whole day.
The burden of proof. You can't reject, and I think you have a hard hill to climb to say there's no way he's on anything like that.
In order to say it's not an absurd suggestion, you have to at least plausibly bring a specific substance known to man that would do what is being alleged, which is it would take someone suffering from cognitive decline who struggles to even understand what he's saying and make them coherent in the way that it.
And that's what I was going to say too. Adderall doesn't give you like superhuman mental powers. You don't become a genius because you took Adderall. I don't know if you guys know that. If you're a dumb fuck and you take Adderall, you're a dumb fuck that talks a lot. If you're a moron and you take Adderall, it doesn't make you a genius. If you're a moron and you take Adderall, you are just now a moron that can move really quickly. Actually, it doesn't even make you move really quickly. It just makes you want to move really quickly. It doesn't imbue you with superhuman powers. I don't know if y'all have ever taken Adderall. Well, let me just say this. If you're an idiot and you take Adderall and you're like, bro, it makes me smarter, guess what? You still an idiot. You just think you are smarter. I'll tell you what, if you're an idiot and you think that Adderall makes you smarter, take that shit and go on Jeopardy and then let me know what the results are. All right? That's a study we'll do.
It is being described.
That's not how
so
it works.
The burden of proof is on those who say it's plausible to say, here's the list of drugs that could do it. And even here's one other thing before you jump in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect you to come up with the right drug because yesterday morning, Dr. Ronnie Jackson on Fox.
And by the way, I think that all old people are on pharmaceuticals. I think all old people are the biggest hypocrites when they talk about like drug use and shit like that because the only way they're still alive is due to pharmaceuticals. Okay? Like I'm not saying that Joe Biden or Donald Trump aren't on some type of pharmaceutical. I'm just saying if you're going to accuse somebody of something, just like David Pakman's saying right here, is it shouldn't be in this like obtuse way of being like, I don't know, it could be Adderall. It could be cocaine. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Because it just make you look like an asshole, all right? Do I think that both of them probably have to get up and take heart medication, blood pressure medication, maybe the occasional Ambien? Probably. They're old as fuck. Both of them are as old as fuck, okay? But you have to assert that if it's a performance-enhancing drug, that is doing something that's enhancing his performance.
Fox News couldn't even propose what drug would do it. If the pill guy from Air Force One can't suggest it, I know you're not going to be able to.
So the next time a Republican tries to claim that Biden must be on drugs, go ahead and ask them to reach into their extensive medical libraries and offer up the exact drug that only lasts the duration of a speech and also cures cognitive decline. Something tells me they might not feel so quick to diagnose people after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a look at our inflation, our real inflation. They said it was 10 for the last couple of years cumulatively. You take a look at inflation, and if you add different categories, which they don't, I think our inflation is between 40 and 50%. They say it's at 22%. 22%'s a lot. That's record-setting. But I think you could double it. Let them add the cost of interest. Let them add the cost of trying to buy a house. Nobody can buy a house anymore. The American dream is dead. The money they can't get, the interest rates through the roof. During my term, we had gasoline down to $1.
Whatever he's about to say is stupid as fuck. This is what I'm saying. This is how dumb people are. Is this like there are talking points within that argument that could be made, but the fact that a former president of the United States doesn't know that housing costs do not have anything to do with interest rates, mortgage rates do have something to do with with inflation. Mortgage rates or interest rates have something to do with the Fed not cutting, therefore the interest rates are higher. So like I said, within the argument, there is something that can be said, but he is not saying it in that manner. He is talking about housing costs. Housing costs do not have anything to do with inflation. That's why they're not included in the inflationary number. That's why they are a part of CPI. If we were talking about CPI, once again, that's a completely different argument. And generally, when it comes to people that enter my subs come in or the chatters come in, and they say this kind of shit, that's understandable. They're not a former president of the United States. We can have those discussions. We can hopefully educate each other to those numbers don't have anything to do with inflation. Inflation is at 3% right now. 3%, which the target is to be somewhere around 2% by the end of the year. We do not have Fed cuts until that happens. And the hope is that we get down to around 2% by the end of the year, and then we do have Fed cuts to interest rates, which will hopefully drop the housing prices. Housing prices are actually already starting to come down, which makes me really sad because I'm a homeowner. But for those of you that don't own homes, I'm fucking happy for you guys, okay? All right, fine. Anyways, like I said, it just makes me upset because this is a former president, and if he really believes this shit, that means he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. If he doesn't really believe this shit, then he's just treating people like morons and just being like, they don't care, they don't know, they'll vote for me anyways. I just have to say things are bad.
And 87 cents a gallon.
Now, I'm not saying that Trump doesn't understand the economy, but I am saying that he would 100% not pass a 9th grade economics test. No,
yes,
inflation is not 40 to 50%. It's not even the 22% that he pretends is the official measure. Inflation is at...
Why would the Fed lie, Adam? Why would they lie? Adam, you're going to make the same argument we've probably had a million times. You don't include energy, you don't include gas prices, and you don't include groceries or rent in inflation. Inflation does not include those. If you want to talk about the consumer price index, those are the things that you want to make an argument for, but the argument isn't going to be Joe Biden bad. The argument is going to be that corporations as a whole have 74-year high profits. The gas companies, they set their prices. The oil companies set their prices. Not even the convenience stores that you buy the gas from set those prices. The oil companies do. OPEC decides on the pricing of the barrels of oil. They literally limit the supply of the barrels of oil to artificially increase the pricing of it, which increases the pricing of gas, which makes it so they can take advantage of dumb fucking people that don't understand what CPI is. Even when it comes to rent, I'm going to give you one on rent if you want to bring up rent. If you want to talk about rent, that's actually in liberal states, not a Democrat, not a politician's fault, but it's the people that vote. You want me to explain why blue states tend to have issues with housing? It's because they don't practice what they preach. What are you talking about? Oil companies do set prices. Oil companies set prices for gas. The people that refine it. OPEC sets the prices. OPEC decides. OPEC gets together and decides what their prices are, and then we try to undercut them. That's what Texas. In Texas, we have the best bet to undercut, and we choose to go just. And then you have what happened with those the dude that just sold off to BP or Exxon or whatever, where he was literally caught price fixing with OPEC. He was literally caught price fixing with OPEC. Like, come on, damn it, you guys are half-assed conspiracy theories. That should make you mad. That's like right up your fucking alley that some dude that was selling off his company to Exxon was caught sending text messages to people that are involved in OPEC that was like, bro, what should I set the price at? You guys should be mad about that. God damn it. Okay, now I'm going to get back to what I was saying. Because this is one of the things that I'd like to get to one day, if we could get Trump out of the room and have his ass stop sucking up all the air in the fucking room, is that there is a problem in liberal states when it comes to housing. Places like California that I'm from have a housing problem, but it isn't from the politicians, it's from the people that vote for them. Because on a local level, we have a housing crisis because we all have single-family homes where it is necessary to build things like apartment complexes for old people that are on Social Security. And there needs to be places where we do have Section 8 housing for poor people or people that are poverty-stricken but still have jobs and want to still participate in the economy but are under undue stress because of the fact that they can't make enough money to pay for housing because there's not enough housing. Because this is what I'm going to say to you guys before I get off track. I'm going to read a comment. I'm going to get totally off track. We have a bunch of people that have single-family homes. We legislate to put in more housing. Everybody votes on that because it sounds good. Okay, yeah, we should have more housing. That drives housing prices down. We go to put that housing in neighborhoods, and then the people that live in those neighborhoods who claim to be liberal, who claim to be blue state voters, go, well, hold on. I mean, I want more housing, but I don't want my home value to go down. Well, hold on. I don't want a huge apartment complex next to my house. And then they don't follow through on that shit. And this is what I'm saying. I wish we could get fucking Trump out of this room and so he would stop sucking up all the goddamn air so we could talk about actual real problems in this fucking country. Because that is a problem, and that is specifically one that people here in California, my blue voters, should be holding themselves accountable for and saying to themselves, you know what? Yeah, if that's my values, if my values are that elderly people shouldn't be displaced, that poor people shouldn't be displaced, then that might mean an apartment complex going up next door to me. You know? Like, that's where we got to get to. We got to get to that. We just got to get fucking Donald Trump the fuck out of here so we can start talking about regular
3%, which is exactly in line with the rest of the industrialized world, if not higher than other industrialized countries. In fact, as far as our peers are concerned, the U.S. leads all G7 economies in economic performance, turning in the best GDP growth of every country, as evidenced by this chart. So I get that Trump is desperate for an economic downturn that he can exploit for his political gain, exactly in line with the rest of the industrialized world, if not higher than other industrialized countries. In fact, as far as our peers are concerned, the U.S. leads all G7 economies in economic
rebound. Canada. Look at Canada trying to hang. Look at that. And something I want to point out here is notice it's been number one forever. Okay, guys? This is my problem with the doomerism. I'm not saying that you in your personal life are not currently being adversely affected by what's going on in this country. If you're a young person specifically, it's tough out there. But that means that families, we need to be more European. We need to be more willing to allow our children to stay with us until they can get to a point where they can go off on their own and do their own thing. Like, I had 2 Italian buddies from Torino, Italy, that when they moved here, they started a shoe store, and then they were working there. One of them was a French pastry chef, and he was working with me. And he was like, John, I do not understand. He's like, why do everybody look at me so crazy that I live with my mother still? And this is a man that owned 2 businesses, had fucking tons of money, but his mom lived with him. And in this country, we have this weird idea that you have to like kick your kids out immediately. You gotta make them get tough. They gotta get out there and fight. But it's not like that anymore. And in today's the country, and to what's going on with the housing crisis, with places like Blackwater owning tons of property that they probably shouldn't own. Once again, we could get into that shit, but you guys, we can't until fucking Trump leaves the room because he sucks it all out of the room. But you don't get to just blame things on shit's bad. You also have to recognize where you could be helpful. And in this instance, the place that we could be helpful when we have young people is to allow them to stay in our homes. Your kids ain't that bad. And if they are that bad, it's your fault. Because they're your kids and you raised them. Okay? My kids can literally live with me as long as they fucking want. You know why? Because I care about them. Because I'm not afraid that them living with them is going to turn them into some weak, unable, adult. Because I would never let that happen. Because I'm going to parent them in the correct way. I'm going to help them grow into productive adults that are part of a society that doesn't whine and cry and have fucking doomerism as their main theme. Like, I keep saying this, and that is that people want to cry about a bunch of shit but never take any accountability or responsibility for where they're at in their own lives. If you vote against your interests, you're part of the problem. If all you do is complain, you're part of the problem. If you spread doom or conspiracy theories, you're part of the problem. We're coming out of a fucking global pandemic, and all of us had to tighten our goddamn belts and batten down the hatches. And we did pretty goddamn good, to be honest with you. And we should all be patting each other on the back and saying, good fucking job, we didn't go into recession. We kept each other safe. The economy's still pretty goddamn good by every metric. And hopefully over the next 2 to 3 years, it gets better and better and better and better. But it's not going to get better and better and better and better if all we do is take a pessimistic attitude towards the future and just shit on each other. Got to be supportive. What up, DJ? We gotta change some stuff in our own lives. We gotta take accountability. We gotta take responsibility. Stop blaming they. It's the Illuminati. It's the deep state. Start voting in your own interest. Like I said, if you're blue and you want homeless people to be taken care of and old people to be taken care of, and you're voting for housing, but when it gets to a local level and they want to put housing in your neighborhood and you vote no on it, that's your fucking fault. You're the problem. Stop that shit. Stop it.
Performance, turning in the best GDP growth of every country, as evidenced by this chart. So I get that Trump is desperate for an economic downturn that he can exploit for his political gain, just like he sank the border bill to derive some political benefit from it. But unfortunately for Trump, Biden is overseeing a historically strong U.S. economy, and certainly the strongest economy in the world. And look, we could go on, but I think you get the point. And the point is that while the right-wing media ecosystem falls over itself to paint Joe Biden as being in the throes of cognitive decline, there is only one candidate who is so aggressively unhinged and whose brain may or may not be melting, and it's not the Democrat. So the next time you hear the usual drumbeat about Joe's mental state, ask yourself what they're trying to distract you from, because it's not too difficult to miss.
And God, I don't want to sit here and fucking add into this, but it's like, it always ends up being projection. You know, it's like being an abuse victim. It's like the shit happens, and you're like, oh, they did it again. They kept saying this shit was happening on the other side, and it ended up being them. And then you hear something like that, and you're like, all right, I'm not fucking adding into this bullshit. But then at the same time, you're like, damn it, am I being abused? Are they doing this shit again? Oh, damn it. All right. Anyways, oh yeah. All right, we're gonna have a little break here because I wanted to watch this so bad. I haven't watched this one in a long time, and everybody loves this shit. Also, in celebration of Alex Jones losing all this shit. Okay, dude, I love George Carlin's my shit. Okay, and just so anybody that hasn't been in my channel, the holy trinity of my channel is George Carlin, Jon Stewart, Bill Burr. It's a holy trinity, okay? I'm not religious, but I do have a holy trinity.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay.
That's false, Ryan. Obama actually had a cheaper year than Trump.
Real slow for you.
Look it up.
Frogs.
Bill Hicks is up there, but he's not my trinity. right, Ryan. You're correct. Doesn't make the song not funny.
Gay friggin' frogs. Frogs. Friggin' frog crap. Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay frogs. Won't you fight for your life?
Yeah, DJ. Yeah.
Gay frog, friggin' frogs. I don't like a frog. Gay friggin' frogs. Frogs. Friggin' frog crap. Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny.
It's not funny.
I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay frogs. Won't you fight for your life? Gay frog, friggin' frogs. I don't like a frog. Gay friggin' frogs. Frogs.
All right, that's enough of that. Happy Pride Month. Yeah, Ryan. It was proven true that the chemicals was it the Chinese chemicals in the water were turning the frogs into males or whatever. It was influencing their fucking not metabolism. God damn it, I don't know, fucking up. Their gender or whatever. But here you go, because this is something everybody believes and it's stupid. National average for gas over it's 20 years. Where is there's a chart that shows it. Annual grasses. This is it. Here you go. Statista. And you look at. Can I get a bigger one? Is there a better one? Obama has a year that's actually 2014, 2015, 2016, $2.14. 2016 is $2.14. 2017 is $2.42, $2.60. Here we are in 2020, which is Trump's last year in office, which is 3 cents higher than fucking Obama's last year. How many fucking times do I have to tell you guys are wrong? Fucking you come in here, you don't ever look shit up. You just say the same stupid shit you hear Trump repeat. Ryan, you still in chat, Ryan? You still in chat, dog? No. 2012. 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16. 16 is Obama's last year. Obama's last year. Obama's last year is 2016, Ryan. 2016. Jesus Christ. You do! It was your point, you fucking moron! God damn, I hate you people! Just admit you were wrong! Fuck. Are you guys mentally incapable of saying the words I'm wrong? Like, are you like, when you go to say it, other shit comes out? Like, you go to say I'm wrong and you're like, no, fuck, fuck! Just admit you're wrong. Trump's best year was his last year. His best year was his last year. $2.17. In 2016, Obama's best year was 3 cents cheaper. I'm looking at a fucking... Yeah, why was it in 2010? Why was it $2.78? Why do you think that was, Ryan? Why do you think it was? Would it be perhaps for the same reasons that it was $3 in 2021, Ryan? Do you know how to math, or do you use Trump math? Or do you use Trump math? Do you know what happened in 2008? Do you know what happened in 2008? Why in 2010 that would affect gas prices? Come on, bruh. This is a weird... You guys get stuck on the weirdest points. He had cheaper gas. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Obama literally led us out of a fucking recession. Dude, that's the dumbest shit. Look, bro, I drove from Carolina to Philly for $4 a gallon. How does that have any indication of how good or bad things are? Come on, dog. You're better than that. God damn, man. You guys don't, like, you could make so many good arguments, and you guys instead make shitty arguments. That's what drives me the craziest. There are so many arguments you can make against Joe Biden, so many arguments you can make against Obama, but because you don't do any of the actual work to educate yourself on any of this shit, and you just regurgitate the shit you hear, you make dumb arguments. That's a dumb argument. Come on, Ryan, fucking get with me. Like, go get a good argument, come back, and we'll have a talk. We can fucking discuss things, real things. Not bullshit like fucking he had the cheapest gas when he didn't. What's my argument? It's your argument. You're the one that's arguing with me, dog. Bro, I drove to... Is that an argument? Is your argument I drove to South Carolina from Philly? It was $4 a gallon at the beginning of his term? What the... Do you understand how national averages work, Ryan? Do you understand that different states have different laws? Do you understand that different states have different state economies? Jesus Christ, dog, do you really think that because you drove from one place to the other in the United States that means that that's how the country as a whole is feeling? Tell me, Ryan, you're not one of those people that said, just look around. Tell me that you're not one of the people that uses the argument, just look around, when you talk about the economy. Because you know, if you were to say to me, personally, just look around, the economy looks fucking fantastic. My economy looks fantastic. Don't use the just look around argument. Anecdotal evidence is where you should begin your hypothesis. So if you say to yourself that you drove from South Carolina to Philly and it was $4 a gallon everywhere you went during that time, what you would want to do then is to start looking into statistics. Do they match what I feel? Not do they confirm what I feel? Like, you need to look into them with a non-bias. I don't know if this is true, so I want to either verify that it is or verify that it isn't. You wouldn't just say, just look around. I'll admit whenever there's a Democrat in construction. Wait, I'll admit whenever there's a Democrat in construction is booming, which is what? Can you, God damn it, can you rewrite that? How the fuck am I supposed to understand what you're saying? Come on, Ryan. God damn it. Why do I engage? I don't know why. I'm trying to help you guys. Come on, Ryan. All right, bro. My whole point was Obama had a $4 a gallon gas. I thought you were trying to say. No, he didn't even have $4 a gallon. Was it? Hold on. Is that Statista? Yeah. Look, Ryan. I'm going to look at it. Okay, 235, 2010. 2010, it was $2.78. That's what you're talking about, right? Now, if we go up here to 2012, $3.62. So he never had a $4 a gallon. That is not... Now, if you're from California, Ryan, if you're from California, the national average, okay, would be different, right? So if you're from California in 2012, you probably had $4 gas, right? But that's not the national average, which is much more important than what I'm paying in California. Like, we're not talking about individual states, Ryan. If you want to talk about gas prices being high, then you want to talk about America's gas prices, not California's. So like in California, what I have is gas tax, right? Like we have a gas tax. Mind you, just so you know, I also got $1,000 in kickback from the state of California during its highest year. So actually, in California, when you guys were all paying $3.50 a gallon, I was paying like $2.50 a gallon. And the reason that is because California is better than all of your states, just so you guys know. There are more homeless, more drugs. You can't prove any of those things. You literally can't prove that. Jesus Christ. Do you know why there's more homeless people in California, Ryan? Would you like me to pull up what the number of people per state is, Ryan? Oh my God, here we go. Populations by state. I already know all these, so I'm just going to quote them to you before I even get there. The state of California has 39.3 million people in it. State of Texas, which is the next highest population in the country, is 30 million. The next highest after that, I want to say, is Florida with 22. And then after that, it's 9 million people in the state of New York, packed in like fucking sardines, okay? If with those numbers, can you guess why California has a higher homeless population than most other places? Can you guess why there is more crime in California when they have 39 million people compared to a place like New York that has 9? Can you guess? What is the whole point of the whole point of my channel, Ryan, is to make fun of Trump supporters. Did you not know that? The fucking name of the channel, the thing is making fun of Trump supporters. Oh, look, we got another one. The Democratic Party is the extremist party pushing towards communism. Ah, dude, if you're playing the dumbass Trump supporter game, drink. One of them just said communism. He doesn't know what communism means. Machinist, tell me what communism means. And don't you fucking copy-paste that shit. Make sure you guys got that one on your bingo card. He made fun of Joe Biden's stutter, guys. Drink again. Jesus, you are the most basic form of human beings. Would you like to talk about something Ryan, I'll talk to you about a real thing. If you want to talk about something that's real, ask me a real question and I will answer your real question. I'm going to keep making fun of machinists though. The Democratic Party sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, supporting them and invoking a war with Russia. No. The Democratic Party isn't doing that, but the President of the United States is. That's true. And some Republicans as well are doing that, but they're not sending billions of dollars. They're sending old equipment, and they're sending some money as well. But everything that they're sending over there is supposed to be paid back. They're also investing in another country that is fighting against one of the people that we are competing against. But I bet you're a pretty excited guy that Putin shook hands with Kim Jong-un, huh? Dude, Democrats have lost all credit. Democratic Party has been taken over by communists. You don't know what communist means, you fucking moron. If you did, you wouldn't say that. You'd have something better to talk about. But it don't. You don't. You don't know what a communist is. You're literally standing for a fucking Russian country and you're talking about people being communist. Jesus Christ. Does the cognitive dissonance ever make its way past the blood-brain barrier? Does it ever sift in there? Or do you just type out the same shit that people tell you all the time? There's no communist, you fucking moron. Jesus Christ. You guys just break my brain. Okay. That's actually, I like what you're saying, Broken. So we'll talk to Broken, because it sounds like he has a brain, or they have a brain. I don't think giving hundreds of $1 billion worth of assets plus resources when we are in some economic instability is a safe thing to do when the federal deficit is so high, but that's just you. Broken. That's a fine point to make, and see how you use words and your sentences all kind of made sense. So I'm going to engage with you in the proper manner. And that is, in my opinion, there were 3 options when it came to the war in Ukraine. There was the best option, the bad option, and the worst option. The best option would be that, say, Vladimir Putin wasn't a fucking douchebag and didn't decide to invade a sovereign country and try to take over something because he felt like he was being, what was it the person say? Invoked. He was invoked, which he meant provoked, but they don't know how to use actual words, so I'll fix this for machinists. He meant that they were provoked, which is literal fucking Russian propaganda. Literal fucking Manchurian candidate brainwashing that he does not know that he's using because he's not smart enough to know that. So in the best case scenario, we would have in some way found common ground to say to Putin, you don't invade Ukraine, which he had been doing since 2017 or 18 by proxy through mercenary groups, what Donald Trump also gave $47 million for. Okay? The best case scenario was to work it out and attempt to get Putin to not invade Ukraine. That wasn't going to happen. The chance that that was going to happen was in the low 1 percentiles, right? We're talking like 1 to 5s, okay? The bad would be that he invades Russia. He invades Ukraine. We support Ukraine because, yes, we do want a NATO country on his fucking border. Yes, we do want to stop him from invading a sovereign country and taking more land like he did in Crimea and Georgia. We do want to stop places like Russia from getting the idea that they can invade sovereign countries, because if we don't give them that idea, then China invades Taiwan and we lose all access to 90% of the high-end semiconductors that we need for hypersonic missiles, AI, supercomputers. We're not at a point where we can allow that to happen. So that's the bad scenario, and that's the one we're in currently. I do think that we do need to hold Ukraine accountable because they do have corruption in their government, and we do need them to pay back the money when they are in a good place, whether it's through resources or through its trade agreements or whatever is necessary to get that money back from them. I do agree with all of those things, but let's talk about the worst case scenario. And in the worst case scenario, we allow Russia to invade Ukraine. They take Ukraine. Every other country that even wants to think about being an ally of the United States of America looks at America and goes, fuck that shit. They won't stand up for us. Taiwan gets invaded by China. China now no longer has to import $500 billion a year worth of semiconductors. Instead, they have all the access to semiconductors. And now America is beholden to China to get those semiconductors that we need to be in the race in the next industrial revolution, which is going to be AI and green energy. And we are going to have to go through China to do that if we just allow big countries like them to invade smaller sovereign countries without standing up because we are their ally. It's the same reason, though I do not like that we are helping Israel, I understand why we are helping Israel. I do not feel that it's okay that we are funneling money into Israel for their conflict, but I also agree that it's something that America, that has pre-contractual agreements with their country, has to stand up and say, we said we'd be here, we're here. We don't have to be happy about it, but we're here. Anyways, did I answer that? Did I answer that? I went on a diatribe. What is Eddie talking? When Trump was in, we were the biggest oil... No, we're not. We're the biggest oil producers in the world right now. You don't have to look that. I can look it up right now if you want me to. We are the largest oil producers in the world right now. Eddie, that's the worst fucking argument you could possibly make. I get that you're in that, like, just now I'm going to make these, like, insult arguments, but that's the worst argument. Appeasement is how World War II started, so doing nothing is definitely nothing. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Broken. Broken, you're a human being. You have an actual brain. I also agree with that China is a significantly larger threat than Russia. We've seen how low their economy is and how poorly their infrastructure is holding up. 100%. Broken, you are a smart human being. Look at you go. Jesus Christ. We don't make any oil? Are you fucking retarded? Sorry, I'm not supposed to use that word. My wife's going to yell at me. But it applies to you. Jesus Christ. Here you go. 2011 to 2022, U.S. crude oil production more than doubled, peaking in 2019. This is what you're talking at, 12.3 million barrels per day. 2019 to 2023, production continued to increase, reaching a record high of 13.15 billion barrels per day in December of 2023. Eddie, you're a moron. You're just as bad as the rest of the people that come in here. Yeah, I watch CNN, you fucking idiot. Yeah, I watch CNN all the time, Eddie. I don't have any arguments, so what I do is I accuse people of watching CNN, because when they prove me wrong, I can't say those words. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's 2023. Yeah. Who was in office in 2023? Who was in office in 2023? Jesus Christ, you're not very smart. I don't even like oil production. God damn it, man. You look at that. Here you go. Here, this is the fucking U.S. Energy Information Administration. March 2024, 13.182. The fuck do you want to say that? Like, this is where's Donald Trump's last year? Donald Trump's last year in office is here. Here. How are you this dumb? How are you this dumb? That's a literal question. I'm trying to actually figure out how the fuck you are this dumb. I'm not for oil production. And I know this. I am about to have an aneurysm. You're right. All right, calm down now. Get rid of career politicians and make the populace vote on congressional salaries and ban lobbying. It's just legal bribery. I agree with 99% of that. My only problem is I've seen term limits. Oh, Eddie, I love you, brother. Thank you. Term limits, I disagree with term limits. I only like saying that because I've been saying I agree with term limits for like the last 7 years. But Legion Miller changed my mind. Term limits, I think age limits are good. I think age limits should exist, but term limits, unfortunately, just create more lobbying. So actually what you just said, Proton, if we went through with the full thing that you're talking about, like including getting lobbying out, then I would agree with term limits. I would agree with term limits if we overturned Citizens United, if we disbanded the Chamber of Commerce, if we had laws legislating getting dark money out of politics, all of those things. If we were capable of getting money out of the political system, I would agree with term limits. But until then, I think that people actually do more damage when they're not being saddled with the ability to be removed from office by voters. I think they have less power than when they get out of Congress and then have the ability to lobby Congress by joining up with the oil companies, whatever companies, fucking Twinkies, whatever the hell you want to talk about. Whoever was paying them money that gives them contracts once they're out of politics to then help lobby because they have the inside connections. Like, that's what I'm all about, is get money out of politics and then we can talk about all the other shit. As long as they don't steal it again. Look at you, Eddie. You're already so ready to lose. You're already making up excuses. You're already making up excuses. Oh, Machinist, I stopped reading the dumb shit you said. You don't like oil production. You better get out of your house. You better quit wearing clothes. Yeah, no, that's a misunderstanding of what I'm saying, Machinist. But that's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, god damn, you're so dumb. God, sometimes you guys, I can feel my brain cells fucking committing Harry Carey by reading your comments. Is that the psyop that I'm under right now? This is a psyop that I'm currently under, is that these people aren't here to argue with me. They're just here to literally kill my brain cells. That's the assault that I am currently under, is that these people aren't here to make any actual real points or talk about things in any like actual cognitive manner. They're just here to like assault my brain, and my brain cells are just like Harry Carey over and over again because they just can't handle this shit anymore. Oh, Jesus. I love it. I show you guys the facts. And you guys are like, it's not true. It's not true. Dude, I like it, Broken. You're 19? Broken, come back and talk more. I like people that disagree with me that are smart. What I don't like is the people that come in here. Look, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. If you come in and you're not going to actually talk about real educated shit, then you're just a bigger part of the problem. It's always projection. So Eddie there is the most useless person that's probably ever lived. The biggest waste of pre-com that has ever existed. There is a hard-working tree somewhere that Eddie needs to go out to and apologize for making its life worse. So sad. But thank you, Broken. You're saving some of my brain cells. Actually were about to jump off the cliff, and then you came into the chat, Proton, and it was like fucking, they're like, dude, hold on, have faith, I think we got one. I appreciate you. Me too. Well, here's the thing, Proton. Here's the thing. I'm going to explain this to you because you sound like a smart person. So I'm from the trailer park, Proton, and I grew up in a ghetto. Okay, so I had all the same thoughts as all these Trump idiots that come through here. And the only way that I've found to be able to talk to any of them is by insulting them like their Trump daddy does. Like, because what it does is it reminds them that they're still just a supporter. They're not Trump. And when they get beat up a little bit, when they feel like their emotions have been knocked off kilter, they don't know what to say, they're used to being bullies, and then when they deal with somebody like me that doesn't take their shit, that doesn't just back down and go, oh, it's fine, I'm going to take the high road, then they have to actually talk. And every once in a while, some of them actually talk to me. I've got a couple people in chat that we had a little bit of a fight before, and then by the end of the thing, they said, well, hold on, how do you feel about Ukraine? And we talked about it. Or, hold on, why do you think gas prices are so high? And we talked about it. And we've converted some people to being in the chat. I'm not saying that I'm affecting anybody's vote. I think Trump supporters are going to vote for Trump no matter what. But we're creating a diversity of conversation by having people that disagree with us in the chat so that way we can refine our ideas. But unfortunately, the thing about it is I have to get on their level to talk to them, or else they'll just never talk to you. They think they can come in your chat, they can say some dumb shit. As long as they don't say anything about children, we usually let them like hang out. As long as they don't say anything about people hurting themselves or they're gonna hurt them, they get to hang out. We don't care about Trump 2024, those kind of things. You like Ben Carson? Okay. I think Ben Carson's kind of a weird dude, but he's smart enough. He's just kind of weird. He's got some strange shit going on. Anyways, what up, Spitfire? Gina, did I say hi to you, Gina? Well, that's all he got. That's what Trump, like, you know how monkeys, how gorillas are like, oh. That's Trump 2024. Except for they know when a silverback comes in, their ass better somewhere else. That's when they run off into the forest. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm thankful for all the conversations that we have on here. Some Trump supporters, they're just never going to get it. They're always going to be part of the cult. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be part of the cult. Until the Three Short Grunt crowd. Exactly. Always going to be part of the cult. And I'll tell you this. Before I go, these are the steps of the cult, and this is where they're at, okay? The first step of the cult is you turn over all of your worldly belongings. They've already done that. They think that as Joe Biden's economy, they don't recognize is because they send $35 to a supposed billionaire. They don't recognize that buying his Bibles, buying his shoes, buying his hats, buying his shirts, buying his sweaters, buying his bumper stickers, buying his pins, They don't recognize that that's where all their money is tied up in recycling, if you know what I'm saying, okay? So the first thing that happens in a cult is you give the cult all your money. We're past that point. They've already done it. That's why they're complaining about how bad things are. The second part of the cult is he gets to have sex with your wife. Now, for most of these Trump supporters, they haven't actually got to let Trump have sex with their wife. They just imagine it, which is pretty much the same thing. The third step in being a cult is called massaging the master. And what that is, that's the height of the cult. This is when these guys have been dreaming about this moment for their entire goddamn life. They've been like, ever since Trump came into being, they're like, this is what I hope for more than anything in the world. And it's called massaging the master. And that's when he calls him into the office, and he pulls down his pants, and he lifts up his belly, and he lets him go to work. He lets him go to work. And that is the moment that they know that they are a part of cult. And then the part where we all get excited, the part where we all feel the best and the greatest, is when they all move to Jonestown, Russia. And they got those big blue barrels, and they're filled with great blue dini. And it's got all the good stuff in it. And then we never have to worry about them again. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Machinist, if you want to come back and have actual conversation, I can see you're typing things for real. If you want to come back and have an actual conversation, feel free to come back into the chat and ask questions. But instead of saying dumb shit, come back and ask a question. See where I stand on some stuff. We'll have a conversation. We maybe even educate each other. There's a possibility. But if you're just going to talk shit, I'm just going to talk shit. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Let's see. Monday, Wednesday live streams at 5. Saturday, usually at 5, unless I get a wild hair up my ass, and then it happens a little bit earlier in the day. Mega Meltdown, I think it's going to come out tomorrow at 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific. Working on that Civil War is Stupid, Stop Being Dumb video. Going to get that out as soon as possible. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. If you want to join the Ginger Army, you can click the link up at the top there. You can support the show by donating through PayPal. You can support the show by becoming an Angry Ginger Army soldier for only 10 cents a day and support a soulless ginger in his efforts to educate him and the rest of society to politics. Or you can just show up and be awesome and ask cool questions. That as well. I thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.